Every day, thousands of people are connecting to international teachers through italki. Find a teacher today and become fluent in a foreign language.
Hi, my name's Tom. I'm from the US, I'm a chemical engineer, and I'm passionate about language learning. I've used italki to learn 8 languages to a conversational level. I grew up in Colorado, where I was exposed to many different cultivated my interest in languages. One of the first languages I became conversational in was Norwegian. I decided to book a trip to Norway. To prepare, I found a group class with around 7 people. Not only were they extremely expensive, it was around $40 to $50 per lesson, but progress was also frustratingly slow due to the size of the class. I heard about it from a positive view from a polyglot. I was amazed to discover that I could learn any language I want, one-on-one, and for the fraction of the price as offline classes. I thought, how is this even possible? I immediately signed up with 2 teachers in Norwegian. One teacher, we would have conversation lessons and go through a textbook, and with the other teacher, we would go through worksheets and chat about random things. So essentially, I structured the classes in a way that would suit my own learning style, which never would have happened without italki. Within a year, I was relatively fluent in Norwegian. I was so happy that I could actually go to the country and use the language in a practical setting. And the best part is that I really enjoyed the learning process. I thought, why stop there? I picked up Italian and mixed my interest in Italian cooking with lessons on italki. After learning Italian for a year and going to northern Italy, I was able to easily get around and communicate with people. I then decided to set myself a personal goal of passing an advanced Italian exam, and my teacher on italki helped me to achieve this. I was hooked. I'd found the ultimate formula for learning a language from scratch and staying motivated. I would book a holiday in a new country in a year's time so that I could put the language in practice. I did the same with Japanese, French, German, Russian, Czech, and Hungarian, and even explored Chinese, Thai, Serbian, Farsi, and Sicilian. From this process, I made so many valuable friendships and connections that has improved not only my communication, but also my confidence. Whether I'm watching the news in German, reading about Italian politics, speaking to my cats in Norwegian, on the phone to my friends in Bergen, or watching fitness and nutrition videos in Czech, I find a way to get at least some practice of one of the languages every day. I found the best way to stay motivated is to align my interests with my language learning, and in that way it doesn't take over my whole life, which people often believe. I find this way of learning on italki so much fun.
Lingvi es una aplicación móvil que ayuda a practicar idiomas de manera instantánea conectando a usuarios disponibles en todo el mundo. Con Lingvi encontrarás personas nativas dispuestas a ayudarte a practicar el idioma que desees aprender. Los usuarios con tiempo libre se mostrarán disponibles para recibir llamadas y de esta forma ganarán recompensas ayudando a otros usuarios. Así es como conectamos personas de forma colaborativa y gratuita en nuestra aplicación. Únete a nuestra comunidad, haz nuevos amigos y mejora en todos los idiomas que quieras. Descarga Lingvi y practiquemos juntos.
Este es Peter. Está aprendiendo chino. Ha intentado estudiar por su cuenta con libros, tarjetas de vocabulario y aplicaciones móviles, pero sigue teniendo problemas para hablar. Esta es María. Le encanta aprender inglés, pero no tiene oportunidades para ponerlo en práctica. Con italki, Peter y María pueden recibir clases personales online para hablar con fluidez en otro idioma. Tú también puedes aprender un idioma en italki. Empieza hoy en 3 simples pasos. Primero, elige un idioma. Inglés, alemán, chino, francés, japonés. Italki tiene profesores para cualquier idioma. Segundo, escoge un profesor. Con italki puedes escoger entre miles de profesores con experiencia de todo el mundo. Tercero, elige el horario de tu lección. Las clases de idiomas son el mejor método para aprender con profesores nativos. Con italki tendrás un profesor de idiomas personal y conversaciones reales con hablantes nativos. Cada día miles de personas aprenden con profesores internacionales a través de italki. Encuentra un profesor hoy y domina el idioma de tu lección.
Hi everyone, it's Vicente and I teach Spanish on italki.com. And today we will be talking about 3 grammar rules to follow when you start learning Spanish. The first one is that, as you have already heard, Spanish verbs are always conjugated. That means that they have to match with the subject of the sentence. For example, there are different pronouns in Spanish. Yo, tú, él, ella, usted, nosotros, nosotras, vosotros, vosotras, and ellos, ellas, y ustedes. All these pronouns have their own conjugations, and it's very common for beginners to mix them up. So remember this. When you start to conjugate the verbs, they have to match. The second rule is very important as well. The Spanish nouns and adjectives has to be in the same level. Let me explain you this. If you have a noun that is feminine and plural, for example, las mujeres, the adjective that you have to use right after the noun has to be feminine and plural as well. For example, las mujeres españolas. It is the same with the articles las, female and plural. We use this article because, as I say, it's female and plural. The third rule I already mentioned before, and be careful, English speakers, because the adjectives in Spanish go after the noun, not before like in English. This is very common for students that learn Spanish and already speak or know English. When I say it, las mujeres españolas, españolas is the adjective, and I put it after las mujeres. In English, it would be the Spanish woman, but not in Spanish. Okay, there are some occasions where the adjectives go before the nouns. That is true, but normally this use comes out at intermediate level or advanced level, so do not worry when you are a beginner. Thanks for watching this video, and don't forget to subscribe to the italki YouTube channel over here. Take a lesson with me on italki.com by clicking on my teacher profile link in the description. Hasta luego! Hi everyone, it's Vicente and I teach italki.com, and today I will be talking about 7 Spanish words that are similar to their English counterpart. These words are also known as cognates. What a cognate is? A cognate is a word that has the same linguistic derivation that another word, and it looks similar, and when you pronounce it, it sounds almost the same. And here I will give you 7 cognates so you can use them in Spanish as well. The first one is alcohol in Spanish. Guess you know what it means, because it sounds pretty similar than in English, doesn't it? Number 2 is conclusión. This one has a different pronunciation in Spanish, but you will understand definitely when you start learning Spanish. Number 3, hobby. This one is completely similar. We basically took this word from English. Number 4, of course, it's the same word, just different pronunciation. The next one, number 5, is piercing. Yes, we use this word with the same pronunciation and meaning. Next one, number 6, is informal. I like to use this one in my lessons to explain ways to greet and say goodbye, because it's similar in English and is a word that the students understand very quickly. And the last are some words related to sports. If you're learning Spanish and you like sports, you're lucky, because most of the words are cognates, like football, tennis, baseball, volleyball, hockey, water polo, golf, surf, and so on. As you can see, almost all sports are cognates. So, talking about your hobbies should not be difficult. As you can see, there are many, and I would like to remember you that there are hundreds of cognates, and if you check them, you can be ready to your first Spanish lesson. Thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the italki YouTube channel for more tips on learning Spanish. Take a lesson with me on italki.com by clicking on my teacher profile link in the description. Hasta luego!
Hello guys, Hello， 你好，大家好，欢迎你们来到我的课堂。Welcome guys to my class. Is anyone here already? 有人已经在这儿了吗？我是奔放，我是一名中文老师。I'm 奔放 and I'm a Chinese teacher. 你好 Laura，Good to see you again Laura. 你好，Naya I don't know if I pronounce it correctly. 今天你们忙不忙？Are you guys busy today? 今天很冷今天天气不好，下雪，很冷。Today the weather is not very good here. In the northeast China, it's still snowing. The snow and the rain they mix together. 下雨和下雪但是我的家里不错，家里很暖和Inside the house is quite warm and good. Hi, Hi, Denise. 你们在哪儿？你们是哪国人？Where are you guys from? And where are you right now? 我在哈尔滨在中国的北边。I'm in Harbin, the north of China. No, 今天很忙Laura, 你今天很忙不好，你今天累不累？Tired or not tired? 累不累金龙鼠我喜欢你的名字I like your name. You have a dragon, the golden dragon, 金龙非常好，非常好你在美国天气很好，很好金龙鼠很忙，因为他要上班he should go to work. 非常好现在几点？金龙鼠现在几点What time is it now? Naya said, 我是德国人，很好，我有很多德国的学生I have many German students 很好My 是英国人在德国很好，现在德国天气非常好，对不对I know in Europe the weather is very good 晴天 sunny day 你们喜欢什么 What do you like 我喜欢喝咖啡，我喜欢喝咖啡，我也喜欢喝啤酒我喜欢中国啤酒，我也喜欢德国啤酒I also like the Germany beer 非常好。好，金龙数12:47对，在德国，德国现在12:47我上个月在西班牙。Last month I was in Spain, and so I'm still have the jet lag of Europe. 我有欧洲时间Great. So guys, today we are going to learn past tense. I see many of you already have a certain level of Mandarin, so perfect. 今天我们学习过去式Today we are going to learn the past tense. But first thing first, we know that in Chinese we have a verb that can be formed by a verb and an object. So itself is a verb, but we can further divide it to a verb and object. So we are going to review those verbs first. And now I'm going to Milena said Milena 你好你好 Good to see you again 很高兴又看见你 ¿Cuántos tiempos verbales tiene el chino en total? Mucho it's mucho 特别特别多we will get there but today we are focusing on the past tense so now let's review the verbs first. I'm going to share my screen and guys, let's get started for the past tense. 好 so here so as I said for verb in Chinese, we have sometimes we have the 2 pinyin or 3 pinyin verbs that we can further divide it to a verb and an object. So for example, to get up, it's 起床 起床 起 means to be up from a surface. So you are getting up from the bed. Bed in Chinese is 床 床 起床 to get up 起床 and 睡觉 is to sleep 睡觉 睡 is a verb means to sleep to go to sleep and 觉 is the object the noun for sleep. Can anyone tell me how to say have a good sleep? To sleep a good sleep. When before sleep you say 晚安 and have a good sleep. Anyone knows how to say to have one good sleep? 如果你知道你可以写一下If you know, you can write in the chat 你们可以写一下好for past tense, or for any details of verb object, we always put the details in the middle to separate the verb and the object. 金龙鼠 said 睡觉睡得好 Very good, very good. But that's not a wish. That is a comment on yourself or on someone else, the habit, the experience of sleep. So you will use that one to say, oh, 我睡觉睡得好 I slept well. Or yesterday I had a good sleep. Hello, Zania. Nice to meet you. 很高兴认识你So guys, if you wish someone to have a good sleep, we will say 睡一个好觉睡一个好觉 So 睡 to sleep 一个 one unit 好 good and 觉 for the noun for the sleep to have a good sleep 睡一个好觉睡一个好觉 Perfect. And tell me how to say I had a good sleep last night. I had a good sleep last night. Later we will see. Sorry, we learn the past tense yet. So please say the one. Some other object creation, for example, sing. Sing is 唱歌，唱歌，唱 to sing, sing. The 歌 is a noun for the song. 唱一个歌 sing 唱哪个歌 sing two songs. Sing for 10 minutes. 唱10分钟 All the details in the middle. 跳舞 is to jump. Jump. 舞 is a noun. Dance in Chinese is 跳舞. You know the name, which is the name of the dance in the middle, right? So, guys, tell me what dance do you like? 你喜欢跳舞？你喜欢跳舞 dance do you like dance? I like to I like to 骚打，就是我喜欢跳骚打舞。Hard to hear one word. It, I guess it's not very clear with the sound. Audio is good. Let me just take a look. Wait. Hello. Jeffrey is a let me do just let me re-enter. Okay, great. Hello. Very good. So how about now, guys? Can you hear me well? Se escuchan muchos ruidos. Y ahora, escucháis bien? Better? 非常好，非常好啊！谢谢。好，good. Now let's continue. 我们继续。So I will keep sharing my screen. 1 second. 好啊。好啊，非常好。So let's continue 啊，唱歌 is to sing the song， 唱歌。跳舞 to dance， 跳舞。跳 salsa 舞，跳 flamenco 舞。So we put the name before 舞 to say 跳舞。好 ，guys, now we are going to officially start the past tense. The past tense. So the past tense is for the simple past tense is very easy. So let me share it again. I think today there's some 网有问题has a little bit connection problem. Can you guys see the slides? 你们可以看见吗？现在可以看见吗？好，非常好啊。好，非常好，very good. So guys, if we for the past tense, normal past tense, we just put the l after the verb. For example, if I say yesterday I watched the movie. Watch movie in Chinese is 看电影，看 to watch to see. 电影 is movie. So 看电影 is to see, to watch a movie. But now when I introduce some new information, when I tells you the first time I did something, I simply put the l in the end of the verb, between the verb and the object, and I need a past time in the beginning. So 昨天我看了电影Yesterday I watched movie. But if you didn't do anything, we put the didn't before the verb. Didn't in Chinese is 没. So yesterday I didn't watch movie. 昨天我没看电影我没看电影。好anyone knows what the meaning of 去年？去年 is also a past time. Pero ¿qué significa es 去年？去年非常好 Laura 去年 is last year 年 is year. 去 means to go. The year already went away. Go away. That's the last year. 去年 去年啊，非常好 ，Colin， 谢谢。So last year I went to China. 去年我去了中国啊，我去了中国。But if I didn't go last year 啊，去年我没去中国，没去中国。So as you can see, for may, there's no 了啊 we only use may before the verb. 上年金龙鼠 good 啊，金龙鼠 ask 说可不可以说上年啊 ？Can we say 上年？It's better to say 上一年啊。The last 1 year is to put a e between the 上年啊，上一年。The last 1 year, you can also say 去年、上一年都可以啊，非常好。And guys, this is just for when you introduce new information. We use the 了 and the may. You cannot use for emphasize details. This is when you give a news, tell someone what you did in the past. So something very, very new information, we use the 了 and the may. However, if we already know that you watched the movie, I know that you went to China, but now we want to know the details. When did you go to China? When did you watch the movie? At what time did you watch the movie? With whom that you watched the movie? So those are the details that I want to know about the 了 sentence or the may sentence. In this case, we don't use 了 and the may anymore. So when you already know the information, you want to know the details, then we use another structure. So for example, when we try to emphasize on the details or to gossip about with someone or to show off oh, it's the most expensive restaurant that I went. It's the Oscar movie that I watched. It's or you can have a chat to ask for details about someone's past happening things. We use this structure of 是的，是的。So 是的 is when you know someone did something, but now you want to know the details about it. So for example, if someone tells you, 我看了电影 I watched the movie, or 他看了电影 he watched the movie. But now you want to gossip, right? Oh, he watched the movie. With whom that he watched the movie? So with whom is 跟谁 跟谁 So we put a 是 before the detail, the piece of detail you want to know. And then we keep the verb again 看 from 看电影. And then we don't use 了 anymore. Here we use the after the verb to show the past. So it was whom that you watched the movie. 你是跟谁看的电影 And to answer this one, you can say, it was with my friend. 我是跟朋友看的 Here we use 的 never use 了 here Or I was watching with my mom 我是跟妈妈看的跟妈妈看的 I watched with my mom But if you want to know that where did you watch the movie? For where, we have 3 ways to say where, which is 哪儿哪里 or what place 什么地方 Let's see. Laura says, why is 是 in parentheses? Because sometimes when we have a conversation, you just have a natural flow of the conversation. Oh, I watched the movie. Where did you watch it? But if we use 是, it's more like I'm really, really want to know with who that you watched the movie. Did you watch it with with the other friend's girlfriend, or did you watch with that bad person? So when I use 是, I'm giving more emphasis on that piece of detail. It's important to know with who that you watched. But sometimes you can also like without 是, but you keep the 的 to make it more like a carol, more easy. Oh, with who did you watch movie? So no that strong emphasis. 很好。And Jin Longshu says it's more informal in a way, I suppose. 非常好，非常好，谢谢，谢谢啊。Milena said de estando para preguntar como para contestar. Sí, sí, puedes poner enfoques en una detalle. Puedes introducir esta detalle por tú mismo, o también puedes preguntar con esto para saber esa información. 非常好。Colin said the is used in so many situations. Yes. Many structures you can see this the. But today we just learned this the. This the is for past tense. When you want to know a piece of details. When you want to know the details of a past happening, that you use this the after the verb. Very good. 好, so let's continue. So if you are a detective, you want to know where did you watch the movie, or you want to gossip, where did he watch the movie with that girl? So then we put the 是 before at where. Remember, we need a verb before the where. So 是在哪儿 at where, or 在哪里 or 在什么地方看的. It was where that you watch the movie. 什么地方 what place. 很好. To answer this one, we need to keep the 看的 and the 是 is optional. You can say 我是在家看的 It was home that I watched the movie. 我是在电影院看的 I was watched in 电影院 the movie theater, the cinema. Or 我是在朋友家看的 I watched at my friend's home. So you just answer, keep the 的 after the verb. And what movie did you watch 的 So 你是看的什么电影 So now we use 什么 to show what 你是看的什么电影 What movie did you watch? You can say 我是看的中国电影 It was Chinese movie that I watched. 我是看的这个电影 You can point at the movie It's this movie that I watched 我是看的这个电影 And also you can use 是的 to emphasize on the time like when did you watch the movie? When in Chinese it's 什么时候什么时候你是什么时候看的电影Or you may want to be more specific, like which day did you watch the movie? 哪天哪 is which, and 天 is the day. It was yesterday, today, or last Monday, last Sunday. 哪天 which day 你是哪天看的电影Or like 几号 which the date of the month 几号看的电影你是几号看的电影 And maybe you know the day, but you don't know exactly the time. So you can also say 你是几点看的电影What o'clock did you watch the movie? 谢谢金属龙 gave us a very good example 我是去年看的 Star Wars It was last year I watched Star Wars 9 number 9 非常好So you can just but 金属龙 one thing you have to know this should be a supporting sentence of already known past fact. So somewhere in your dialogue beginning you have to say 我看了 Star Wars. I watched Star Wars 9. If you don't say that sentence and you directly give the details, it's a little bit weird. But we need to first you say 我看了 Star Wars and 我是去年看的. It was last year I watched it. 非常好，非常好啊。And guys, so 是的 we can emphasize on people with whom, location, at where, on the object, what movie, and you can emphasize on the time. Very good. So 什么时候哪天. And now let's see another one. Let's back to the le and the may parts. Sometimes we may have many elements in one sentence. So for example, let's see if A ask, last week, what did you do? Last, the one above is 上个 周末 weekend. Last weekend, you did what? To ask for new information. 上个周末你做了什么？你做了什么？ So now, first time I answer the le question, I can tell that I went to the mall to buy things. 我去商场买了东西。我去商场买了东西。When the sentence has two verbs, for example, here to go is 去, right? 去. And 买 is to buy, 买. In English, maybe you say, I went to the mall to buy things. But in Chinese, we have to put the past tense, the le, or the de, after the last verb. So 买 is the last verb in this clause. So we need to put the le or de after the last verb. 我去商场买了东西 or 我去商场买的东西 And we only use the le and the de one time after the last verb. And also I met friend, 我还见了朋友 This is another clause, a new clause. So we use another le and the de. But here, since it's new information that you meet friend, so we use le here. 还见了朋友. And did you watch the movie? Did you is le ma. For did you do something, this is more as a fixed structure, le ma. We don't have to put the le right after the verb. You can, but it's better. It sounds better. It's a habit. We put the le ma together in the end to ask, did you do something? So 你看电影了吗? Did you watch movie? 你看电影了吗? For didn't, 我没看电影 may is always before the first verb. 我没看电影 没看电影 This le also you can use for something today. Did it happen? Because today at this moment, before right now, it's already happened, right? And from this point to later, it's a future. So you can also use it for you had我吃了 我吃了 I ate. I at home ate breakfast. I ate breakfast at home. 我在家吃了早饭我在家吃了早饭 And if you have not yet, it's 还没 呢 is a particle, no meaning, but we always use ne with the not yet structure. You can translate ne as yet, so haven't eaten yet. 我还没吃呢 So this le and may you can use for today, in the past, already happened, or you can use for a past time. Perfect. 好 so guys, let's See, 1 second. Let me. So, can anyone tell me what did he do today? For example, let's see. Laura, 今天你做了什么？ Sorry, Laura, 昨天你做了什么？ What did you do yesterday? 金龙鼠，昨天你做了什么？哈比，昨天你做了什么？ What did you do yesterday? And who else here? Naya, Milena, 昨天你们做了什么？ What did you guys do? Meanwhile, I'm going to take the here. So let's see. Can someone tell me what did he do? Let me see. 金属龙 said, 我昨天上班了上班了 You went to work yesterday, right? 上班了 So 金属龙 now I'm going to ask you details. 你是几点上班的what time did you go to work? 你是几点上班的Please write me in the chat. 你写一下Milena said 我看了电影 right? You watched the movie. Very good. No details. So I would like to know the details now. Milena, 你是跟谁看的电影 Who did you watch the movie with? 你是跟谁看的电影非常好金属龙 said 我8点上班的He went to work at 8 o'clock. Details with the after 上班 Perfect. Carol 我看了迪士尼的 Vaiana 很好很好So that's new information. So Carol, I would like to ask you 你在哪儿看的 Where did you watch the movie? 你在哪儿看的Laura said 我昨天学习了非常好Laura 你跟谁学习的 Who did you study with? 跟我吗跟我学的吗was me 非常好很喜欢这个电影很好Perfect guys so that's for the details that's for to know the 是的 is for to know the details 好 and let's see so one thing I would like Carol said 在法国in France 非常好很浪漫romantic How do you say I started alone? Started alone. Alone, you can say you have two ways. You can either say 一个人一个人 like one person. You can say 我是一个人看的It was me, one person, myself 看的Or you can use 自己the Z-I 自己 J-I third tone. So fourth tone, third tone 自己 means oneself 我自己看的I watched by myself 我自己看的 Milena said 我看的Milena that's a very good example that's a very good mistake you said 我看的跟我妈妈 So remember in a sentence with someone should be in the beginning before you watch the verb object is always in the end of the sentence. You will say the time, the people, the location, and what you do at that time, at that location with that person, always in the end of the sentence. So the 看的 should be in the end. So you can say 我是跟妈妈看的we cannot say 我看的跟妈妈 is not good. People should be in the very beginning of the sentence. 我是跟妈妈看的in the end. 非常好。Laura, same problem. Laura, you also the same thing. So Laura, can you try to fix your sentence? How to say it was myself? You put the 是 before the details. that I watched. So that watched in the end 看的 should be 学习的 that I studied by myself. 学习的 should be in the end. Laura, please try to tap again. 非常好。So guys, now let's make this a little bit complicated. So now with the location in the sentence. With the location, like to go to shopping mall. Shopping mall is a 商场. So location always before the action. Location before action. So here, as you can see that we need to put the go to shopping mall, 去商场, before watch movie, before the action you do at shopping mall. So for example, he went to the mall to watch movie, new information, 他去商场看了电影, 看了电影. So now we put the after the last verb. Here you have several ways to ask, with whom did he watch? 他是跟谁去的? You can use this 去 by itself. Or 他是跟谁看的? Who did he watch the movie with? Or 他是跟谁去看的? Who did he go and watch the movie with? So you have since we have two verbs, you have three ways to ask for one piece of detail. Laura, just correct the sentence. 我是一个人学习的. Perfect. That's when you say, it's myself who studied. So here, if it's myself watch the movie, you can say 我是一个人去的. 我是一个人看的. 我是一个人去看的. Very good. So that's how you give the details. And this 是的 structure, you can also emphasize on how to do something, by what method. So how in Chinese is 怎么, 怎么. So how do you get to go to somewhere? 怎么去, 怎么去. Like by train, by subway, by car. How did you get to the shopping mall? 你是怎么去的商场? How did you get to the mall? 你是怎么去的商场? Anyone can try to answer this question? Time to see your vocabulary amount. Can anyone tell me it was by train, or it was by subway, it was by car, by riding bike, by driving car that I went to the mall? Does anyone can give me an answer here? 非常好金龙鼠 very good 我是坐金龙鼠 you have two verbs, right? You have 坐 to take the ride, and you have 去 to go. So where do you put the 的? Where do you put the 的? And Naya is maybe available vocabulary is longer. No worry. But 金龙鼠 already gave us a very good example. It's 坐地铁. 坐 is to sit. Like right now, I'm sitting on my chair. I 坐 on my chair. 地铁 is subway. 地 means the ground, the land. 铁 is the iron. The iron underground. It's 地铁, the subway. 坐地铁 take the subway. 坐地铁. So if we say it was by subway that I went, 我是坐地铁去的商场. 金龙鼠 just type the right sentence. So we can see that's thank you very much. 谢谢. That's how we say 我是坐地铁去的. It was by subway that I went. And Colleen said, I only know 出租车 and 飞机. Perfect. That's perfect. 出租车 taxi. But don't forget the verb 坐 to take the ride, to sit on. So 我是坐出租车去的. 我是坐飞机去的. It was by airplane that I went. It was by taxi that I went. Very good. So we put the 去的 in the end. 非常好. 很好. Next one. So if we emphasize on Was it a Chinese movie or American movie that you watched 啊？So 你看的中国还是美国电影？So many of you may be wondering, teacher, why early you said 看的 is in the end, but now you put 中国还是美国电影 in the end, right? Why is that? Why now I put 看的 in the beginning after 是？Because think about the order of the sentence, right? In the order of the sentence, 看电影，电影 is after the verb, right? 电影 is after the verb, and we always put the right after the verb. So 看的什么电影？看的中国电影还是美国电影啊？ So the order is the same. The object is after the verb. So 看的中国还是美国电影？非常好啊，金龙鼠非常好啊。Colleen said 我去年是坐飞机去中国的。Colleen, that's also very right. Because the difference is that you put the object after the verb. And the object is already known in the previous dialogue. When you introduce the sentence with le or may, you already mentioned the object. So the object sometimes we just drop in the 是的 structure. So you can just say 我是去年坐飞机去的. That's the end. Or you can put the 的 in the end. Both okay. 非常好. And the last one, also the 是的 structure can emphasize on the purpose. The purpose. So if someone tells you 我去了中国, I went to China. 我去了中国. And you may want to know, you went to China for relaxing or for travel or for work. So when you want to get that detail of the purpose, we can say 你是去放松的吗？ Where you go there to relax 你是去放松的吗？放松 is mean to relax, to enjoy So where you go there to relax, we put 的 after 放松。你是去放松的吗？ You can say no, 不是去放松的It's not. 我是去工作的I went there for work You can use 不是的 for denying that detail, and then you use 是的 again to clarify it was work trip that I went to China 我是去工作的我是去工作的非常好Laura said, is it the same as 你为什么去中国? Yes, you can use that one also. Why you go to China? But 是的 is more like emphasize on the one piece of detail, right? But 为什么 is like just why you go there. And Laura, that's also a very good question because 是的 cannot emphasize on everything. You cannot use 是的 to emphasize why and how long. 多长时间 we cannot use 是的But you can emphasize on the time you start this action and you finish this action. Like 几点你去的 What time did you went? 几点你回来的 When did you come back? But we cannot say 多长时间去的 No So the 是的 cannot emphasize on how long and why But 谢谢 Laura 很好的问题很好。Now guys, now we know how to tell the new information past. We also know how to emphasize on the details. And the last thing that we need to ask in a dialogue is, how do you think about your experience, right? How do you feel about this past experience? So when you ask for how was it? How was your experience about watching movie go to China? The third structure we are going to use will be the verb 的 and then plus the怎么样, like how was this past experience? So for example, if someone asks you, told you that 我吃了饭, I ate meal, 我吃了饭, then you may want to ask, how was your eating experience? 你吃的怎么样? 你吃的怎么样? This the is a different the, it's different character, and this is a different grammar. So I want to know your eating experience. 你吃的怎么样? So to answer this one, you have to give some adjective to describe, comment on your past eating experience. So I will give you some example here. No, not this one. So for the should be in the daily activity one, which is here. So if someone asks you, 你吃的怎么样? To answer this one here, you can say, I ate very well. I had a good experience having food. 我吃的很好. I had a good eating experience. So 吃的很好 not only means the food, also means the whole experience. Maybe there's very good service, very good good environment of the restaurant. So that's 吃的很好. Very good. And 吃的很贵 if you spend a lot of money. I had a very expensive experience while having the meal. 我吃的很贵 or 我吃的很舒服. 舒服 is comfortable. Let me put this one here. Copy and let me put it here. It's more bigger. So 我吃的很贵 I had a very expensive experience. And 舒服 is comfortable. 舒服 is comfortable. So 我吃的很舒服 I ate very comfortably. 我吃的很舒服. 我吃的很饱 饱 is means that it's like very full. Like there's no more space to have more food. 吃得很饱. 吃得很好吃, Jin Longshu said, 吃得很好吃. That's also good, but your de is wrong. Should be the two people de, right? 双人的. Very good. 好吃 is only for food, for delicious. But if you say, oh, the Coke is tasty, we say 好喝, 好喝. Good to drink, 好喝. And 撑 is someone will eat a lot, right? Eat too much. So 撑 is like overeat. So if you say, I ate too much, 我吃得很撑. 我吃得很撑. So this is many ways to express your feeling about your past experience. So if you eat not very good, 我吃得不好, 吃得不好. And there's two more very useful one for the degree of the describing the past experience, which is 还可以. 还可以. 还可以, what's the meaning? Does anyone know? 还可以 and 一般. What's the difference between 还可以 and 一般? That's something very useful when someone asks you 怎么样? 怎么样? How do you think? How was your experience? You can simply say 一般 or 还可以, 还可以. 非常好, 非常好. So 还可以, 还可以, it's like acceptable. Acceptable. So if I give a 100 score, so 还可以 will be like it's like 50 to 60 points. It's like not 非常好, not 很好, but it's okay. It's at least it's meet my lowest standard. So 还可以 still okay 啊，可以 is okay， 还 is still okay is acceptable 啊 acceptable， 还可以啊还可以。But if you say 一般，我吃的一般啊，一般 it's like so which is like 40 or 30 points it's below the average 吃的一般 it's not that good not that good 我吃的一般很好So this will be a flow when you have a conversation with your friend like maybe you and your friend on a table and you start to have a chat about yesterday so I will start the sentence with like 昨天你做了什么yesterday what did you do 昨天你做了什么 and then so after the person gave you an answer we are going to use the 是的 structure for all the details if you want to gossip the details of that le sentence and in the end you want to know how was it 你吃的怎么样你看的怎么样you were playing 你玩的怎么样你玩的怎么样Milena 吃的很好 very good what did you eat 你吃了什么你吃了什么 I use le to get new information right Milena 你吃了什么金龙鼠 said oh I mixed that one up yeah these three very different structures it's like a one by one in the le for the first one 是的 the second one and how is it the last one three structures in the different stage of your conversation so anyone want to do a dialogue with me right now like it's hardly to call but we can do like a practice in the chat any volunteer want to do like a practice with me actually I will just ask each person a sentence so if you want to participate you can tap one so I will ask a question for you very good Milena 我吃的米饭you were eating rice right so Milena my question to you 你吃的多不多你吃的多不多Milena type me the answer 你吃的多不多金龙鼠 gave me a sentence tells me you can give me any sentence about a past happening Marina very good 马马虎虎Marina very good can you tell me what do you did 马马虎虎give me a sentence what did you do 马马虎虎马马虎虎 is like 还可以like it's not good not bad so马马虎虎no worry Milena I was asking you did you eat a lot 你吃的多不多多 means a lot 不多 is few 你吃的多不多 did you eat a lot or not a lot 你吃的多不多金龙鼠 said 我上班的很忙so very good so but 金龙鼠上班 is a verb object it's a verb object so 班 is a noun for this structure you cannot put a noun before the if you really want to say the noun you have to put before the let me show you so if you want to use this structure to clarify you are 上班 you are go to work you are not 上课 you are not having class or doing other things you need to put the verb here object here the noun can never before the So 金龙鼠 your question should be 我上班上的很忙啊，上 is a verb. 我上班上的很忙啊。I went to work very busy. So very good commenting for you had a busy work. But remember, noun object cannot before the 的 only the verb can before the 的啊。好，let's see the next one. Marina said, 我吃的马马虎虎，非常好，非常好啊。It's like yesterday you ate something 啊，你吃的马马虎虎。But Marina, I don't know what did you eat. That information is missing, so I will use 了 to get that information. Marina, 你吃了什么？你吃了什么？Yeah, 金龙鼠 the new sentence very good. 我上班上的很忙啊，我上班上的很忙，非常好啊。Very good 啊。Laura is here, right? Laura, I haven't seen anything. And Habi, Naya Naya, 汉堡包，汉堡包very good. It's a little bit old-fashioned way to say 汉堡包. Nowadays we say 汉堡汉堡. We just use one 堡汉堡汉堡very good so 你吃了汉堡so 汉堡 is 好吃好吃so Marina, 你吃的很饱吗？ Did you eat very full? 你吃的很饱吗？非常好yes, this one is a little bit difficult because this is a lesson that students need to have a certain level for this one. But Naya, tomorrow I'm also going to do a very interesting lesson about a party. So that one you can learn something useful you can use immediately after class. Guys, today we are more emphasizing on the grammar. I want to show you how to use those grammars. But tomorrow is different. Not tomorrow. I think next class it's on Friday. Friday I have a very interesting class for party. And for that class we are going to learn a topic and we are going to learn everything about the party and you will feel that you can have a conversation, you can invite your friend or join the party. It's a different class, not only with the grammar. 很好。好, so very good, guys. That's the class for today. Any questions so far? Feel free to let me know if you have any question, feedback about today's class. 谢谢你们 Thank you, guys. Please, if you have opportunity, try to practice with your Chinese friend or your teacher. Or I'm here. I'm on italki. You can find me with teacher Ben Fang and feel free to go to my page, book lesson with me, or if you want to have this document to review, also feel free to tap me a message and I will send it to you this. 谢谢你们，谢谢金龙鼠，我很高兴你们来上我的课。Naya, yes, Naya, 我们也学习语法Although it's party, 虽然是 party, 我们也学习语法。Also, there will be grammar in that the coming class. 好Vilasania, 再见再见，谢谢你们我们下次继续We will continue next time, guys. Have a wonderful day 好，再见。好。
italki. Today I am going to be talking about business idioms, or idioms you might hear in your office or in your workplace. A student asked me a really good question the other day. He asked me whether, because I'm a native English speaker, do I know every single idiom? And the answer is no. Idioms are phrases or expressions that come from a particular place or a particular age group. So idioms are different in the UK to idioms in the United States. I have chosen 5 business idioms to talk to you about today. And you may hear them in an office in the UK or in the States. So hopefully they will be super useful for you. Idiom number 1 is the big picture. Imagine you go into a meeting and your boss says to you, you've lost sight of the big picture. What does that mean? That means that you are thinking too much about the small details of the project, and you're so interested in those little details that you don't remember what it is you're trying to achieve. So always keep sight of the big picture. The second idiom is to go the extra mile. Now imagine you're in an interview and the interviewer says to you that they are looking for someone who always goes the extra mile. What does that mean? Does it mean they want you to run around the office every day? No, it means they want you to do more than just what is in the job description. They want you to go that little bit further and to take on extra responsibilities. That is going the extra mile. The third idiom is a win-win situation. A win-win situation means everybody gains something. A really good example of this is these videos that I am making for italki. Italki gains some content for their website. I have a platform where students can see me and book lessons with me. It's a win-win. Italki wins and Caroline wins. The fourth idiom is word of mouth. So an example of this is, think about how you found out about italki. Find italki by because one of your friends recommended it to you. Recommendations from friends are word of mouth. It can be positive or it can be negative. If a company gets bad word of mouth, it is going to be a very difficult time for your company because people really listen to the opinions of their friends. So make sure whatever you do, you have good word of mouth about it. The fifth and final business idiom is to touch base. My manager used to say this to me a lot. To touch base means to have a very quick and short meeting about a project or something that you are working on. It might only be 5 minutes of your time, but in that time you will check that your understanding of the project is the same as your manager's understanding of the project. So I have a challenge for you. In your next lesson, I want you to ask you can touch base about. This could be 5 minutes at the end of the lesson where you review all of the different subjects that you have been studying. You're touching base about the things you have covered so far. Thank you so much for watching the video. Don't forget to subscribe to either clicking somewhere and you can take a lesson with me, teacher profile in the description box. Have a good day, everyone. Bye.
Welcome back to the Stop Being Boring When Speaking English video series. When speaking to native English speakers, it's useful to use a variety of vocabulary to make your conversation sound more interesting and flow. Why not spice up your language a little bit and impress others with your speaking abilities? In this next video, we will take a look at some American and British slang.
Number 1, American. John Hancock. John Hancock. So that's a person. It's a name of a person, yes. And it's American slang. What do you think of these? I just got John Hancock. Does it mean like wasted?
Certainly not.
Give me an example.
Okay, so can I please have your John Hancock at the bottom of this paper? Come on, you gotta get it now.
Is it your signature?
Yes, you got it. That was it.
Okay, awesome. Number 1, British. Peak. What does peak mean?
Like,
Yeah, that's
sorry, that's not taking a peek. This is taking a peek.
Well, that's just like taking a peek. That's not slang. Like in a slang context.
Like the peak of a mountain? That's not slang. That's actually
that is the peak of a mountain.
I don't know. Tell me.
Okay, let me give you an example. So say you go out one night and you lose your purse, your keys.
Is it like the most horrible situation you can be in?
Yeah, exactly. You'd be like, that's so peak. You'd be like, oh, yeah. How was your night? It was so peak.
I just got fired. That's so peak.
Exactly. Cool. So it's like the peak of badness, I guess.
Oh,
yeah. Okay. So the peak.
2, American. Jacked.
Jacked. Does that mean like hench?
What does hench mean?
Like say you go to the gym.
Don't answer back with a slang word.
So the British equivalent of jacked would be hench, I think. So someone's like really ripped.
Yeah.
Okay.
So hench.
Go to the gym, work out a lot.
Like, whoa, look at him, he's so jacked.
We would say hench. Number 2, British. Peng. Peng.
Peng.
Peng. P-E-N-G. Peng.
Like someone being panged on the head with something, or
Just
thinking of bang and pang. It's similar. I don't know.
I guess it's no.
Give me an example.
For example, say you're eating a cake. It's delicious. You can say, "Oh, this is peng."
Does it just mean delicious?
You can use it in other contexts as well.
Like it hits the spot, you know?
Yeah, but I could also say that your eyes are peng, or a person is peng.
Just mean like extraordinarily awesome.
Basically, if you're talking about a person, you might even say peng-ting.
Peng-ting.
Like he's a peng-ting.
Okay.
This is mostly
Like
London.
he's like a 10.
Yeah, exactly.
So like the top of the top.
Yeah, basically.
Number 3, American. I blew it.
I blew it.
I blew it.
What a nightmare. I blew it.
Yeah.
So that means that completely ruined the situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Say like I didn't make it into school. So my parents will not be proud of me. I blew it.
Yeah. Rocked up late to work. Not gonna be able to.
I'm never late.
Number 3, British. Having a mare. Having a mare.
Nightmare. Like horrible, real nightmare. Realistic. In reality, basically.
Very good.
That was a lot easier than the previously.
Yeah. Well, what a difference than you. Having a mare. You were having a mare.
I was having a mare.
Yeah.
Not understanding anything she was saying.
Yeah, exactly. So there you have it. There's our British and American slang. Tell us what you thought of it. Did you understand it? And we'll see you next time.
name is Vũ Nguyễn. Tên tôi là Vũ Nguyễn. It's really amazing thing for me. From italki, I can meet people around the world, and they can give me more energy to live and more inspiration to live in the world also. Very magical, yeah. When I can go on lesson and I feel that I'm doing a very good job, and then working at home is a very wonderful thing. I think that I can do something, and I'm doing something here. I think that I can say idea and talk with people. That is the first motivation for me to come here. The second thing that I can have some money for my life to make my life become better and more comfortable. It's very wonderful website of italki because italki is the connection between every people in the world with each other. There are many verbal new language. Innovation is the most important. Not only study language, but also sharing idea and culture and everything else in the life. And through the learning and teaching, and we can share life better. You know that because they have their own and their own knowledge and their own way of living, and when we are discovering a new universe or a new area or something like that.
So it's wonderful that we have this diversity and we should just learn from each other. But if you at least just learn a second language and expose yourself to a second culture, not only do you understand that culture better, but you understand your own culture better. And if most people just did that and were talking openly and honestly about themselves and other people, I don't think there would be any diversity problems. Because learning from each other.
He is a very good student. He studied very well, and he just learned for, he just only studied for 1 month, but now he can speak very much Vietnamese. Later on, the student and the teacher can meet in a different country, and the become very good. We drink coffee together, and we go and I ride a motorbike, and I take them along somewhere beautiful together, and we talk together, and then they come back to their country, and we become students again. We study again. Yeah.
The number of refugees worldwide has reached historic levels as tens of millions of people seek asylum from conflicts in their home countries. Even for those able to reach countries willing to take them in, rebuilding their lives and careers in a proves challenging. For one group of refugees living in Istanbul, teaching online Arabic lessons to students across the world has offered a way, as well as earning income. They have been able to share their experiences with people from different cultures and backgrounds, cultivating relationships with students.
My name is Rahaf, and I'm from Latakia, Syria. Previously, I had a normal but busy.
My name is Aud, and I'm a Syrian guy from Homs, the capital of funny jokes.
Hello, my name is Amr. I'm an Arabic teacher on italki. I'm from Egypt.
Hi, I'm Hussam. I'm from Syria, Al-Hataka, and I'm a teacher on italki now.
3 years ago, I came to Turkey, to Istanbul. Many challenges came in one time. Leaving a country is not, or leaving your home. This is one, it's like fish, the group.
I mean, yeah, the challenge that my career is almost dead. This is the only challenge now. Online teaching, yeah, it solves this problem, of course. Be wherever and get online and start your class.
What italki offered me is like new students I have never met from another continent, way far from me. They want to like learn my language. I feel this is like, I feel sometimes emotional.
italki, Bessa College, and NGOs.
It's important to kind of see someone who's experiencing a difficult time or who has had a difficult past, and to just remember people are people are people. We need to remember that a shared humanity, and I think that gets lost a lot in the media or in the news.
I'm teaching Arabic for first-year students of Arabic in America. We both enjoy teaching and learning online. It's an amazing experience for me as a teacher. I find it so helpful for me, also for the students.
Going into it, people might like like have these assumptions that you're supposed to like learn something about refugees or like understand something new. But I think it's like most valuable to realize that like you're not really learning anything new other than that like this is like just another person just like you.
My tutor Mohammed was like so nice and so willing to work with my level of speaking and comprehension.
At the beginning, teaching online was a new experience for me, and it had a lot of challenges, but now I'm used to it. And honestly, I am enjoying teaching Arabic on italki.
I care now. I care more. I care more about the language. I care more about.
Hello, everybody. I'm Yemi. Welcome back to italki's free classes, free live classes on YouTube and on the italki page. Thank you for joining us today. And we have great news. Great news. Our italki sessions, live sessions, were supposed to finish this Friday, April 24th. But because you guys are so awesome, we have decided to extend into next week till the end of April. So these classes will be going on until April 30th. Okay, I hope that we will see each other a lot more in the next week as well. Okay, so as I said, my name is Yemi. Some of you may have already met me. Originally, I'm from Barbados. Now I live in Japan. Okay, where's Japan? And I live here. I teach English. I've been teaching English for about 11 years. Before that, I taught French and Spanish. So I'm into languages pretty much. Okay. Please leave in the comments, introduce yourself, leave your name and your country. Okay, let's get to know each other. Say your name and your country. Hello, Angel. Hello, Nasser. Nice to meet you. Yes. Super good news, Nasser. Yes. And Angel. Until next week, April 30th. So more time to learn English, Chinese, Japanese, and French. So it's not just English. There's Chinese with Benfeng. There's Japanese with me and Atsuko. And there is also French with Joffrey and Miriam. So lots of time to get working on your languages. Okay. Okay, so today what we're going to be studying, the title says social issues, which might be a little vague for many people. What does social issues mean? Okay, so let's get into that. What is social issues? I'm going to share a screen with you, and we're going to talk about different social issues. Okay. All right. So social issues are just problems or ideas or theories existing around society. And society is essentially people. Okay. So issues that exist because of people. Okay. Theories, ideas that exist because of people. Not necessarily natural issues, not earthquakes, not animals, just things that exist because of people. Okay. And why would we need to talk about social issues? Why would we need to talk about social issues? Hi, Eduardo. Why would we need to talk about social issues? Well, if you know about the Sefer scale, let's write that down in case you've never seen it. The Sefer scale is the Central European framework of references for languages, okay? And it ranges from A1 to C2. Okay, A1 being a near beginner and C2 being almost native in a language, okay? So when you do tests these days, most of them are graded by the Sefer scale. And if you do a C1, C2, maybe sometimes a B2 test, some of the higher skills that you need are talking about society, okay? Talking about medical issues, talking about economic issues, talking about arts, religion, giving your opinion about these things, okay? So you may need to talk about social issues for a test. Hi, Raffaele. How are you? You might need to talk about social issues for a test, okay? You might also have to talk about social issues in business because some of these things affect your business, okay? If you're meeting with other business people from other countries, you might have to talk about social issues in English. And you might also talk about them with English-speaking friends, okay? Because if social issues may come up in conversation, if something is topical. If something is in the news right now, we say it's topical, okay? So every time you turn on your TV, you hear about this particular problem, that's topical. Let me write topical down for you as well, okay? Topical, just going to put it right here. So when something is topical, okay, we might talk about it a lot, okay? Your friends might ask you, what do you think of this? Okay, so discussing social issues, you might have to give a lot of facts and you might also have to give your opinion. I think, I don't believe, I doubt, okay? So facts and opinions to discuss social issues, okay? All right, so let's start with topic 1, okay? Economics. So how we're going to do today's class is first, I am going to read a passage. You won't be able to see it. So we will start with a listening practice. Listen and get the gist. Okay, so what I want you to listen for on this first listen, okay, is 2 things. 1, who created this theory? And 2, what are the main points of this idea? Okay, those are our 2 questions. Who created this theory? And what are the main points of this idea? Okay, so listen carefully and see if you can find out what are the main points and who created this idea. Okay, I'm going to read to you now. Please listen. John Maynard Keynes said capitalism is a good economic system. In a capitalist system, people earn money from their work. Businesses employ and pay people to work. Then people can spend their money on things they want. Other people work and make things to buy. Sometimes the capitalist system has problems. People lose their work. Businesses close. People cannot work and cannot spend money. Keynes said the government should step in and help people who do not have work. Keynes said the government should spend more money when people do not have work. The government can borrow money and give people jobs. Then people can spend money again and buy things. This helps other people find work. Some people, such as conservatives, libertarians, and people who believe in Austrian economics, do not agree with Keynes' ideas. They say government work does not help capitalism. They say when the government borrows money, it takes money away from businesses. They do not like Keynesian economics because they say the economy can get better without government help. Okay, so quite a long passage. Were you able to catch? Please write down if you were able to catch. Okay, hi Joan, how are you? If you were able to catch, who created this theory? Okay, and what are the main points of the idea? Okay, so we're talking about economics. If you've just joined us, we're talking about economics is our first topic for this lesson. And we've just listened to a passage. We're trying to find out who created this theory and what are the main points of this idea. Were you able to catch this just listening? In a moment, we will look at the written passage so that you can get, so you can compare what I said, what you heard, to the writing, and then we will also check vocabulary and do a little discussion about the economics mentioned, some economic ideas mentioned in this passage. So, yes, John Maynard Keynes. Yes, an economist. Good job, Nasser. Hello, Elisa. Nice to see you. John Maynard. Yes. Okay, so you're able to hear. The spelling is a little different, but that's not a problem because English spelling names can be different, can be very different. So that's okay once you caught. What were the main ideas? Did anyone get any main points? Any main points for this economic theory? Okay. Let's see. Jack. Hi, Jack from Poland. Nice to meet you. Eduardo says the theory was created by Keynes. Yes. Okay, so let's read this theory now, okay, so that you can see the words while I read, okay. So John Maynard Keynes, that's how we spell it, said capitalism is a good economic system. In a capitalist system, people earn money from their work. Businesses employ and pay people to work. Then people can spend their money on things they want. Other people work and make things to buy. Sometimes the capitalist system has problems. People lose their work. Businesses close. People cannot work and cannot spend money. Keynes said the government should step in and help people who do not have work. Keynes said the government should spend more money when people do not have work. The government can borrow money and give people jobs. Then people can spend money again and buy things. This helps other people find work. Some people, such as conservatives, libertarians, and people who believe in Austrian economics, do not agree with Keynes' ideas. They say government work does not help capitalism. They say when government borrows money, it takes money away from businesses. They do not like Keynesian economics because they say the economy can get better without government help. Okay, so yes, Eduardo says it's about the pros and cons of capitalism. Okay, yes. So Keynesian theory is based in capitalism. Okay. Angel says one main idea is about how capitalism works in our society. Yes. And Nasser says the main points of this idea consist of supporting the interventions of states. Okay, yes. So Keynes is in favor of government intervening in the economy. Okay. All right. So this article actually is adapted from Simple English Wikipedia. Okay. If you want to study, but you're not a native English speaker, if you want to look anything up or you want to study resource, we have regular Wikipedia in English. Okay. But sometimes the articles are very long and they're difficult. The words are difficult. Simple English Wikipedia has short articles. Okay, so 200 words to maybe 800 words, shorter than a usual Wikipedia article. And the English is simple. It is made for you. It is made for English as a second language or English learners. Okay, so it's not difficult English. Okay, so you can try that as a study resource. So this is actually the Keynesian economics article from Simple English Wikipedia. Okay, all right, let's check some vocabulary. Some of this vocabulary is economics in general. Some is specifically from this passage. Okay, let's see. Eduardo says how the state needs to intervene in the economy, depending on different points of view and different political ideas. Yes. Okay. Great resource. Yes, Angel, it is great. If you need to study, I think reading is a great way to study, but at the beginning, it's difficult. If you're very, very high English, or in my case, I speak Japanese, so at the beginning, it's difficult. But now I can read almost anything. It's okay. at the beginning, it's difficult to find materials which have a beginner level but are not for 4-year-olds. You don't want to read a whole book about fairies, okay? I did that when I first started Japanese. I read a whole book about a red fairy, and it was boring. So you have this resource to read simple English about anything that you like, music, art, anything you would find on Wikipedia. There are less articles than on regular Wikipedia, but you can find a lot of things, okay? Let's get into our vocabulary, economics and passage specific vocabulary. So the first is capitalism, and the demonym, the noun for a person, okay, is capitalist. Okay, so capitalism is the whole system. Capitalist is a person, okay? So capitalist system or capitalism just means letting the market drive everything, okay? So we don't do anything. We just let businesses do what they do, people do what they do, and that drives our market, okay? We have some different other systems. Socialism is where everybody kind of works together. Everyone is equal, okay? Some government protectionism going on with socialism. Industrialism kind of protects the businesses a little more than the people. And communism also based inequality, but more oversight from the government, okay? And we saw in the passage the words conservative and libertarian. Conservative is a person or an idea that is reserved, kind of, okay? So we like traditional values is conservative, okay? We don't want anything too new, or we like smaller things. We don't want to go too big. That's conservative, okay? Libertarian, I'm not sure if this is so big outside of America. So I'm not American, so I don't have libertarians in Barbados, I don't think. But libertarian is the idea that we should leave everything to freely. People should be free. The economy should be free. Everything should move by itself freely, okay? And you can see the word liberty there, so free. An economist, so we saw this ist with capitalist before. This ist can change something into an adjective, or it can also change something into the person that does something. So a person who studies the economy, a person who talks about the economy is an economist, okay? The interest rate. Interest rate is a percentage of money. So we might see an interest rate when we change money. I live in Japan. If I want to change yen to go back to Barbados, I change it to US dollars first. And the interest rate would be how much money I have to pay apart from the straight translation of the money, okay? Or when you put money in a bank, okay, you put $1, you leave it for a year, it turns into 1.5, 150. That's an interest rate too, okay? And we also have interest rates on borrowing. If you take money from a bank, you have to pay them some interest, okay? All right. Inflation. Inflation is about prices becoming bigger. So inflate literally means to blow up like a balloon. If you blow up a balloon, that's inflate, okay? The inflation would mean that the prices are doing this. They're ballooning, okay? And the opposite is deflation, okay? Laissez-faire. If you speak French, you know this comes straight from French. This also means just let do, literally translated. So leave the market, let it do what it will do. And supply and demand. These are a pair. Supply is the things that are being sold, the things that services that are being provided. And demand is what the people want. I want these products. I want these services. Okay, so they work in a balance. Okay, if you have too much supply and too little demand, maybe prices will drop or something. Okay, if you have a lot of demand and little supply, so we can see this example in COVID-19 for masks. There's a lot of demand and little supply, and so mask prices went up. Okay, so we saw some supply and demand in our current situation. Okay, all right, so hi Camila. No, you don't have to worry. It's okay if you're late. You can watch again afterwards. Okay, so I think the videos will be edited and then they'll be on the website on YouTube, so you can watch them again afterwards. Okay, all right, so discussion. Please tell me in the comments, in the chat, please tell me, do you believe government should be involved in shaping the economy? We have 3 questions, okay? So Keynes says if people are out of work, if people don't have money, then the government should start making business ventures. Some people do not agree. What do you think? Should government be involved in shaping the economy? Question 2, let's number these so that you can, when you respond, you can put a 1 or a 2 or a 3, and there we will know what you're talking about, okay? Question 2, what is the role of different sizes of companies in the shaping the economy? So what is the role of a small company? What should they do to help the economy? And what can they do that's bad for the economy? What's the role of a medium-sized company? What's the role of a big company? What's the role of an international company in the economy? Okay, so we've got big questions, big questions. Give me your opinion. I think, I believe, I don't think, in my opinion, whatever, okay? And number 3, what is the role of individual people in shaping the economy? So me, Yemi, Nasser, Eduardo, what is our role? Rafaele, Angel, what is our role? Camila, what is our role in shaping the economy? So 3 questions, and you can answer 1, you can answer all 3. Let's discuss. What do you think are the roles of these 3 players? The government, what should they do with the economy? What should they do to help the economy? Okay, shape the economy. Companies, different sizes, big, small, medium. What should they be doing? International companies. And what should individual people be doing? Okay, to help our economy. Okay, so Angel says, yes to number 1. Okay, he believes government should be helping the economy, but with limits. So not everything, some limit, only till here. Because if not, the economy of the country could crash. Okay, so he thinks if the government gets too involved, it could cause an economic crash. And at the end, it would be worse for everybody. It would be worse for everybody. Okay, so that's Angel's opinion. Jack, I think your answer is in Polish. I cannot read Polish. Sorry. I don't know. Oh, okay. So, sorry. So one of my feeds was not updating, so I've missed a lot of comments. Let me say hello to a lot of people. Hi, Elena. Hi, Marina. Let's see. Carolina from Colombia. Hello. Serena from Italy. Hello. Renata from Poland. Hello. Joan from Spain. Joan. Maybe Joanne? I don't know. From Spain. Oh, Vietnamia. Hello. Hello again. Oh, you're here a lot. Alessandra from Italy. Ciao. Ciao agli italiani. Okay. And Elena from Ukraine. I have to learn how to say hello in Ukrainian because we see so many Ukrainians and I can't say hello. Okay. So Carolina had John Maynard Keynes. Good job. And let's see. And she said it was about government intervention in economics. Yes. Gabri said it was about capitalism, recirculating money, living well. Okay. Alessandra thinks that companies and the government both have to shape the economy to help people. Okay, interesting opinion. Nina, hello. Hi in Slovakia. Oh, Vietnamina. Vietnamia. Privyet. Dobry din. Okay. Dobry din. Okay, I know Dobry din. It's Russian, right? It's the same as Ukrainian? Okay. Well then, okay. Privyet for the Ukrainians and the Russians. Jack says the government should support the poorest citizens. For example, the unemployed. Yes. So this is really relevant right now because we have some changes going on, big changes with the economy. And so people have different opinions about how much government should be doing right now. Okay. Yes. Marina says government should be involved, but with limits. So Marina and Angel agree. Government should be involved, but with limits. Okay. Any more opinions about the involvement of government, companies, big, small, and medium size, international companies, and individual people? How about individual people? No one has said much about individual people. What do you think is the role of the individual people in the economy? Okay. Let's see. Irina, government should be involved in shaping the economy in the event that there is an unforeseen force majeure. Okay, so force majeure is French. It means literally major force. So a big something that we can't change. Okay, so like an earthquake. If everything is destroyed by an earthquake, or like a virus, like right now. Okay, if companies are destroyed, if people lose jobs by something outside of humans. Okay, so humans have not necessarily done something. Oh, maybe sometimes terrorism, a big terrorist event might also count as force majeure. I'm not sure, but it's something outside of us. We haven't done anything wrong. The company hasn't necessarily done anything wrong, but the economy is affected. And in these cases, according to Irina, the government should get involved, okay, to support small businesses, for example, she says. Marina also says with limits, yes. Carolina, government should be involved in a crisis like this. And Angel says 3, in the COVID-19 crisis that we're living in now, it's important for people to be conscious of the importance to continue buying because purchases will help to recover the economy. Yes. So one thing, because I cut some parts of the article, Keynes also said that when the economy is bad, people stop buying. Okay. So that actually makes it worse. Okay. Because the economy is bad, people save, they don't buy. Economy gets worse, people keep saving. Okay. If the economy was bad and everyone decided to spend, the economy would get better. Yes. So Angel says we need to keep spending. If you have the capacity to spend, if you still have an income, keep spending. Keep the economy from crashing. Okay. All right. Good job. Let's look at our second topic, still economics, economy. So we're going to listen to something about OPEC. Okay. We're talking about OPEC. First, when we're listening for the gist, I want you to write down, what does OPEC stand for? You may already know. What is the purpose of OPEC? And when was OPEC formed? Okay, so we have 3 questions. What does OPEC stand for? What is the purpose of OPEC? And when was OPEC formed? So try to catch these 3 things when I read. Okay. All right, so let's try reading this. Just listen. OPEC The Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries is an international organization. Its work is to coordinate and unify the petroleum policies of its members, and also to ensure the stabilization of oil markets in order to secure an efficient, economic, and regular supply of petroleum to consumers, a steady income to producers, and a fair return on capital for those investing in the petroleum industry. OPEC was formed in 1960 when the international oil market was largely dominated by multinational companies known as the Seven Sisters. The formation of OPEC was a turning point in state control over natural resources. In the 1960s, OPEC made sure that oil companies could not unilaterally cut prices. In December 2014, OPEC and the oil men were named the top 10 most influential people in the shipping industry by Lloyd's. Okay, so we have 3 questions. What does OPEC stand for? What is the purpose of OPEC? And when was OPEC formed? Were you able to catch? Okay. So let's see what we have. Jack, for the last question, says individual people can support their local businesses in times of crisis. For example, small shops or factories. So yes, I think it's more important. I agree with Jack. More important to support small businesses in these times because big businesses, they might get a bailout from government. They will be fine somehow. But the small business, that's your neighbor not being able to have dinner. Okay, so help out the small businesses if you can. Let's see. So Elisa says an organization of petroleum exporting countries. Okay. Erica says the organization of the petroleum exporting countries. Let's see. And for the last question, Christina said, we should be responsible customers, paying attention to how companies treat the workers, the environment, etc. Oh, good answer. So this is for the last question. How should consumers, how should individuals affect the economy? So she says we should pay attention to what businesses do. How do they treat their workers? So for example, some big companies, recently we've heard that their workers can't take lunch breaks or their workers can't go to the bathroom. She says you shouldn't support these companies. You should be responsible and check these things about companies. How do they treat the workers and the environment? Okay, so Alessandro, what is OPEC? So I read and we will read. We will be able to read in a moment, okay? For now, just listening. Let's see. Yes, Vitania, the picture is a hint. Elena says the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries, and it was formed in the 1960s. Yes, OPEC is an organization. Exploitation, an international organization born in 1960, Alessandra. 60, not 16, okay? And Grazia too. Yes, correct about the abbreviation for OPEC, okay? So let's see. Anyone catch why? What is the purpose? Okay. Nasser says it's a union of different countries who provide petroleum, and the aim consists of standing for their interest. Okay, yes. The purpose is unifying oil policies among member countries. Good job, Elisa. Okay, so let's look at the actual passage. Okay, this again is from Simple English Wikipedia. Okay, so again, if you joined us late, You can study on Simple English Wikipedia with simple articles, simple English, simple grammar, shorter than regular Wikipedia. Okay, great study resource. All right, so let's read about OPEC. So listen and read along. OPEC, the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries, is an international organization. Its work is to coordinate and unify the petroleum policies of its members, and also to ensure the stabilization of oil markets in order to secure an efficient, economic, and regular supply of petroleum to consumers, a steady income to producers, and a fair return on capital for those investing in the petroleum industry. OPEC was formed in 1960 when the international oil market was largely dominated by multinational companies known as the Seven Sisters. The formation of OPEC was a turning point in state control over natural resources. In the 1960s, OPEC made sure that oil companies could not unilaterally cut prices. In December 2014, OPEC and the oilmen were named in the top 10 most influential people in the shipping industry by Lloyd's. Okay, so now let's go on to check our vocabulary. Okay, some difficult words, more difficult words than in the economic, the Keynesian article, I think. Okay, there was something I missed, so let me fair return on capital. Let me add a return on capital because you need that. Return on capital. Okay, so the vocabulary from this article and some more economic vocabulary in general. First of all, petroleum. Petroleum is the raw oil product we use for many things, for gasoline, for plastics, okay? You know, most of the oil comes from a few countries. Not every country has a large reserve. Consumers and consumption. So consumers are people who buy or use a product or service, okay? So we are all consumers of something, okay? You buy or use a product, you are a consumer. Consumption is the abstract noun for this process of people using things, okay? You might also see consumption tax, okay? Oops. Consumption tax. So consumption tax is a tax you generally pay at the supermarket, or when you buy something, there's a tax for buying it, okay? That's called consumption tax. Okay, Japan actually has a really low consumption tax. So when I came, it was only 5%. They have slowly increased it to 10%, which is still pretty low. Okay. Return on capital, or we could also say return on investment. Okay. So capital in this case is money. It's not always money. Sometimes it's buildings. Sometimes it's things that you own. Okay. But in this case, it's money. Investment, also money you put into something. The return, okay, the word return means to come back. So the word return means how much comes back to you. Okay, if I put in $100 in this company and I get back $150, okay, I have 150% return on my investment. Okay. So how much comes back to you after you spend money? And of course, invest is just to put money into a business. Okay. Multinational. Multinational are the big companies that we see in working in different economies. Okay. Multinational. Turning point. Turning point. Turning point means if you look at a graph, we have a trend going this way, and a turning point would be where that graph changed. this would be a turning point, okay? So maybe before OPEC was formed, the prices were going this way or the conditions were going this way, and then it was formed and it changed. So that's a turning point. Unilateral, okay? Let me teach you how to break down, if you haven't ever seen how to break down a word, okay? So we know uni is one, okay? So if you can find Latin or Greek bases, it helps a lot with English. This lat is from, if you speak Italian or French, lata, lado, okay? Spanish, sorry, not French. So this means one side, okay? Lado is side, one side. So in the passage, they said that the companies would unilaterally cut the prices, okay? So they don't talk to the people producing. They don't ask the customers anything. They just do it by themselves, okay? Unilaterally. Only my side. I only think about my side. I don't think about anybody else, okay? So that's unilateral. A conglomerate. So this is like a big company made up of several smaller companies, okay? For example, what is a global example? Unilever. Unilever is a Dutch conglomerate, maybe? I don't know. And it has several smaller brands, okay? Like maybe Johnson & Johnson, I think is Unilever, and Nestle. Maybe I'm wrong, I don't remember. But so this big company with smaller companies underneath, that's conglomerate, okay? Here are two interesting words. You don't see the second one so often, but monopoly and oligopoly, okay? Again, we can look at the breakdown. You might know mono as one, okay? So we have lots of words in English with mono. When you do a monologue, it means that you're speaking by yourself. Dialogue is two people speaking. A monologue is like a speech, okay? You can speak in a monotone, one tone. So right now I'm speaking, my voice is going up and down. If I speak in a monotone, it's like this. My voice does not go up or down. It is just the same all the time. That's a monotone, one tone. A monopoly is one company, okay, or one person holding all of the interest, okay? For example, some countries have a cell phone monopoly. There's only one company, okay, that owns all of the cell phones, and you have to buy from that company, okay? That's a monopoly. An oligopoly, some countries, most countries have a cell phone oligopoly. Oligopoly is not one company, but two or three or four, okay? It's not, you can't just, like if you go into the supermarket and you want to buy cheese, there are 20 different cheeses from 20 different companies. That's not an oligopoly. But for example, with the cell phone, you only have one or two or three companies, okay? So you have to choose between these few. And with an oligopoly, so a monopoly, you have to deal with whatever policies this company makes up. An oligopoly, if these three companies decide between themselves to do something, you still have to put up with it. So it's like a monopoly, okay? A little bit like a monopoly. Protectionism means when the government or a company or a state, anything, protects an industry, okay? A lot of cell phones again. I don't know why everything is cell phones in my mind, but crisis in 9/11, the airlines are always affected and the government often bails them out. So that's protectionism, okay? Putting rules in place to protect an industry. Sometimes, for example, with the oligopoly, we have an oligopoly in cell phones because the government only provides a few licenses, so two or three companies. If that was not the case, maybe more companies would enter, some companies would fail, and we would end up with the best companies, okay? So, any more difficult words? Did anyone have any more difficult words from this passage? Any more difficult words from this passage? Okay. I think we are going to try our discussion questions now. Okay, so we're going to talk about some 3 questions again. So, number 1, how do you feel about monopolies and oligopolies? Are they good? Are they bad? What do you think are the pros and cons? Okay, which industries in your countries are monopolies? So in Japan, there are only 3 cell phone companies. That's an oligopoly. Okay, I think most places water is a monopoly, but it's usually done by the government, so it's not so bad. Is protectionism bad for consumers in the long run? So remember, protectionism is the set of policies that protect a company or an industry. Okay, so if the government gives money to a company, or if there are laws that prevent other companies from entering the market, anything like this is protectionism. And what are some pros and cons of multinational companies? Okay, multinational companies or conglomerates. So these are big companies that are not headquartered necessarily in your country. Okay, so for example, multinational companies like Apple. Apple has a company everywhere. Okay, Amazon has companies all over the world. These are multinational companies. What are some pros and cons of multinational companies and or conglomerates? Okay, so you can write 1, 2, or 3 for your answers. Let's discuss. How do you feel about monopolies and oligopolies? Okay, just one company in the market, or 2 or 3, maybe 4 companies that you have to choose from. How do you feel about protectionism? Is protecting a company or industry, is it bad for consumers in the long run? So in the long run means over time. Okay, it may look good now, but is it good in 5 years? Is it good in 10 years? This is the long run. Okay, so do you think protectionism is bad for consumers, us, the people who buy, the people who use services and products over a long time? Okay, if you look at it over a long time. And what are the pros and cons of multinational companies? Okay, so Serena says, in her opinion, a monopoly isn't good for the economy because companies need competition. Good opinion. Angel says, oligopolies are better than monopolies, but only if they are fair and don't try to make a pact to increase the prices or unfair policies. Yes, so sometimes when you have only 2 or 3 companies in an industry, they agree. I will take my price here, you can take your price there. Okay, they agree on the service they will provide, the kinds of perks they will add to their contracts. They agree on things, and then it's the same as a monopoly. You don't get the benefits of competition. Let's see. Jack says monopolistic. Oh, wow. I can't say this. Monopolistic. Okay, monopolistic. Wow. Monopolistic companies dictate high prices, and that's not good for customers. Yes. So if you have a monopoly, you can do anything you want. You can have a high price. You can provide poor service, a substandard product. Okay. So, when we first started in Barbados, when cell phones first started up, we had one telephone company, and they started up cell phones, and the price was like, let's say $2 for one call or something. And then we got another company in the market, and suddenly the price was like 50 cents. So we had like a quarter of the price in just by getting another company. Okay, we had a huge reduction just by getting another company. So monopolies can set really high prices. Okay. Anything else? Nasir says, often the monopolies are government. Yes, so water in most countries, I think, is done by government. Many countries, the water is run by government, and it's a monopoly. I think sometimes that is good because water is an essential service. And so, for example, with electricity is usually a private company, And if you don't pay your bill for a month or two, the electricity will shut off in most cases. Okay. Same for phone. Phones usually shut off maybe really fast. Like you're a week late with your bill. When I was younger, like I had friends, their dad would just forgot to pay the bill, and it would be like a week and their phone is off. Right? So you don't want that with water, because you can get by without a phone, you can get by without the electricity. But like one day without water, no water to drink, no water for your toilet, no water for your bath. So I think that's why usually government has the water. So Nasser says the monopolies might be government. Oligopolies are better for the consumers because there's a competition between the different companies. Okay. And Nasser also says between different companies who provide the same product. Okay. So that reduces the price and it causes you to get better products and better service. Okay, so yes, an oligopoly can have better products and better services than a monopoly. Angel says he doesn't agree with multinationals. For example, Amazon has a lot of power, and at the end, they will have power to do everything they want, and they're destroying small and local markets. Okay, yeah, so big companies, and the balance of big companies and small companies is quite difficult, because big companies, let me write this one down for you, have economies of scale. Okay, economies of scale. So this just means you have the power to do big things bigger. Okay, if I want to buy pens, let's say I want to buy pens. If I buy one pen, you sell me for $1. Okay, if I buy 100 pens, you might give me 10 more pens for free. Okay, so now my pens are less. I bought these pens for less. Okay, so the big companies can use the economies of scale. They are buying more so they can get discounts, which means they can sell for a cheaper price. Okay, and that means they can drive small companies out of business. Okay, because they can't buy there. If you're a small company, you're only buying one pen, so you can't get a discount. Okay. Any more opinions about protectionism or pros and cons of multinationals or monopolies and oligopolies? Let's see. Nasser says the most problems with multinational companies is that they are influential with politicians. Oh, and change different things for their own interest. Yes. So we've seen, like, for example, I am from Barbados. That's in the Caribbean. We are all small countries. We don't have any big countries in the Caribbean, right? Maybe 1 million people. I don't know. But we're all small countries. Okay. We're not like Japan has 127 million people. I forget. But we don't have a lot of people. So if a big company says, I want to work in your country, but I don't want to pay taxes. So we have to weigh the cost. If this big company comes to my country, lots of people can get work, but we won't be able to take tax from them. Okay, so yeah, so big companies often influence, multinational companies influence politicians, they influence laws. Okay, they convince politicians to make laws that maybe are not so good for consumers because they have a lot of money and we want the money in our economy, but maybe we hurt our society in the process. Marina says protectionism is good only for products and services, which are important, but not cost effective. Okay, so they should be protecting industries where the service or the product is important, but maybe if you don't help it, the cost is too high. Okay, let's see. What is a good example? I don't know. Let's say that building products were very expensive in a certain country. people need houses. You can't not have houses. Everyone would be homeless. So maybe in this case, it would be good for government to implement a policy to help reduce the cost of building materials so that people can live in houses. Okay, so for something that's expensive but necessary, okay, Marina thinks that industry should be protected. Okay. Let's see. Elisa says, in my opinion, the multinationals are good for the consumers, but maybe Mali, but bad for small markets. Yes, Elisa. I speak maybe Italian, Mali. It's okay. Yes, so yes, they're good for consumers because we get cheaper products. Okay, but they're bad for markets. Sometimes they might also be bad for workers because some multinational companies don't have good policies. I think Serena said earlier, was it Serena? Someone said earlier, Christina said earlier, we have to pay attention to how companies treat their workers. So some multinational companies are not very good because, again, economies of scale. Okay, you have 1,000 workers. It's easier not to treat them well because you have so many, a lot of people want to work for you. So if they don't want to work there, fine, someone else will come. Okay. Small companies where people are treated personally, people, you see your boss every day, they tend not to treat you like that. Okay. So yes, multinational companies might be good for consumers, bad for small markets, maybe also bad for the workers. Maybe also bad for the workers. Okay. So let's see. Marina says very expensive drugs. Yes. So that's one product or service. If you have like necessary medicines for diabetes or for cancer or for AIDS, but the price is really high, government should protect. Government should subsidize. Subsidize, let me write subsidize, means to give some money. Okay. So something is not so expensive. Government should protect that industry or subsidize the products and services. Okay. Okay, so we are just about finished for today. If you have any questions, feel free to write them in the comments. Okay, I'm going to wrap up. Today we talked about economics. I can't speak English today. I don't know what's wrong. We talked about economic. Oh, I said it again. Economies and economics. Economics. So the stress changes. Okay, economies, economics. We talked about economics. We talked about some economic theories like capitalism. And we looked at also at OPEC, which is an oligopoly. A few countries got together kind of. It's not 2 or 3, but when you look at the whole world, it's only 21 countries out of 190. So it's kind of an oligopoly. We looked at monopolies and oligopolies, protectionism, the role of the government in our economies, the role of companies in the economy, and the role we play as individuals. And we also looked at multinational companies. What are the pros and cons of a multinational company? Okay, so we're going to wrap up here for today if there are no questions. Okay, I will be back tomorrow. Tomorrow I have 2 lessons. So I will be teaching Japanese. I'll be teaching Japanese tomorrow. Okay, Nihongo de, aitai hito wa Nihongo de atte. Okay, ashita wa Nihongo de. We will see each other in Japanese tomorrow, or I will also be teaching. So Japanese is at 11:30 Spanish time, GMT +2. And I have an English class similar to today's class, social issues. I think we will look at art, the arts in general tomorrow in our social issues class. So very good job today. You guys were awesome. You answered all the questions. So so much participation. Alessandra, you're welcome. Okay, Elisa, you're welcome. Angel, you're welcome. And Nasser, I will see you guys tomorrow. Good job. See you next time.
maybe give me hope, or I feel gain hope, it's reward for me.
Hi, I'm a language learning app.
Can we move on?
Oh,
I don't have a dog.
repeat after me. This person eats bread.
I want to practice English for my job interview.
Incorrect. You haven't reached this lesson yet. Now repeat after me. This person eats bread.
Fine. This person eats bread.
That's better. Moving on.
De idiomas inflexibles. Usa italki para aprender como tú quieras aprender y estudiar cualquiera con nativos.
Peter. He is learning Chinese. He was studying on his own with textbooks, flashcards, and apps, still having problems with basic conversation. This is Maria. She loves learning English, but she doesn't have many opportunities to use it. With italki, Peter and Maria are able to get personal online lessons to help them become fluent in a foreign language. You can start learning just for these 3 simple steps. 1. Select the language. English, Spanish, Chinese, French, Japanese. italki has teachers for every language. 2. Select the teacher. With italki, you can choose from thousands of experienced teachers from all over the world. And 3. Schedule a lesson. Online language lessons are the next best thing to living in a foreign country. With italki, you'll have a personal language teacher and real conversations with native speakers. Every day, thousands of people are connecting to international teachers through italki. Find a teacher today and become fluent in a foreign language.
Hi, my name's Tom. I'm from the US, I'm a chemical engineer, and I'm passionate about language. I need to learn 8 languages at a conversational level. I grew up in Colorado, where I was exposed to many different cultures, which cultivated my interest in languages. One of the first languages I became conversational in was Norwegian. I decided to book a trip to Norway. To prepare, I found a group class with around 7 people. Not only were they extremely expensive, it was around $40 per lesson, but progress was also frustratingly slow due to the size of the class. I heard about italki from a positive review from Miss Polyglot. I was amazed to discover that I could learn any language I want, one-on-one, and for the fraction of the price as offline classes. I thought, how is this possible? I immediately signed up 2 teachers in Norway. One teacher, we would have conversation lessons and go through a book, and with the other teacher, we would go through worksheets and chat about random things. So essentially, I structured the classes in a way that would suit my own learning style, which never would have happened without italki. Within a year, I was relatively fluent in Norwegian. I was so happy that I could actually go to the country and use the language in a practical setting. And the best part is that I enjoyed the learning process. I thought, why stop there? I picked up Italian and mixed my interest in Italian on italki. After being for a year and going to northern Italy, I was able to get around and communicate with people. I then decided to set myself a personal goal of passing an advanced Italian exam, and my teacher on italki helped me to achieve this. I'd found the ultimate formula for learning a language from scratch and staying motivated. I would book a holiday in a new country in 1 year's time so that I could put the language into practice. I did the same with Japanese, French, German, Russian, Czech, and Hungarian, and even explored Chinese, Thai, Serbian, Farsi, and Sicilian. From this process, I made so many valuable friendships and connections that has improved not only my communication, but also my confidence. Whether I'm watching the news in German, reading about Italian politics, speaking to my cats in Norwegian, on the phone to my friends in Bergen, or watching fitness and nutrition videos in Czech, I find a way to get at least some practice of one of the languages every day. I found the best way to stay motivated is to align my interests with my language learning, and in that way it doesn't take over my whole life, which people often believe. I find this way of learning on italki so much fun.
Lingvi es una aplicación móvil que ayuda a practicar idiomas de manera instantánea conectando a usuarios disponibles en todo el mundo. Con Lingvi encontrarás personas nativas dispuestas a ayudarte a practicar el idioma que desees aprender. Los usuarios con tiempo libre se mostrarán disponibles para recibir llamadas y de esta forma ganarán recompensas ayudando a otros usuarios. Así es como conectamos personas de forma colaborativa y gratuita en nuestra aplicación. Únete a nuestra comunidad, haz nuevos amigos y mejora en idiomas que quieras. Descarga Lingvi y practiquemos juntos.
Este es Peter. Está aprendiendo chino. Ha intentado estudiar por su cuenta con libros, tarjetas de vocabulario y aplicaciones móviles, pero sigue teniendo problemas para hablar. Esta es María. Le encanta aprender inglés, pero no tiene oportunidades para ponerlo en práctica. Con italki, Peter y María pueden recibir clases personales online para confluir en otro idioma. También pueden aprender idioma en italki. Empieza hoy en 3 simples pasos. Primero, elige un idioma. Inglés, alemán, chino, francés, japonés. Italki tiene profesores para cualquier idioma. Segundo, escoge un profesor. Con italki puedes escoger entre miles de profesores con experiencia de todo el mundo. Tercero, elige el horario de tu lección. Las clases de idiomas online son el mejor método para aprender con profesores nativos. Con italki tendrás un profesor de idiomas personal y conversaciones reales con hablantes nativos. Cada día miles de personas aprenden con profesores internacionales a través de italki. Encuentra un profesor hoy y domina el idioma de tu lección.
Hi everyone, it's Vicente and I teach Spanish on italki.com. And today we will be talking about 3 grammar rules to follow when you start learning Spanish. The first one is that, as you have already heard, Spanish verbs are always conjugated. That means that they have to match with the subject of the sentence. For example, there are different nouns in Spanish. Yo, tú, él, ella, usted, nosotros, nosotras, vosotros, vosotras, and ellos, ella. All these pronouns have their own conjugations, and it's very common for beginners to mix them up. So remember this. When you start to conjugate the verbs, they have to match. The second rule is very important as well. The Spanish nouns and adjectives has to be in the same level. Let me explain you this. If you have a noun that is feminine and plural, for example, las mujeres, the adjective that you have to use right after the noun has to be feminine and plural as well. For example, las mujeres españolas. It is the same with the articles las, female and plural. We use this article because, as I say, it's female and plural. The third rule I already mentioned before, and be careful, English speakers, because the adjectives in Spanish go after the noun, not before like in English. This is very common for students that learn Spanish and all speak or know English. When I say las mujeres españolas, española is adjective, and I put it after las mujeres. In English, it would be a Spanish woman, but not in Spanish. Okay, there are some occasions where the adjectives go before the nouns. That is true, but normally this use comes out at intermediate level or advanced level, so do not worry when you are a beginner. Thanks for watching this video, and don't forget to subscribe to the italki YouTube channel over here. Take a lesson with me on italki.com by clicking on my teacher profile link in the description. Hasta luego! Hi everyone, it's Vicente and I teach Spanish on italki.com, and today I will be talking about 7 Spanish words that are similar to their English counterpart. Words are also known as cognates. What a cognate is? A cognate is a word that has the same linguistic derivation that another word, and it looks similar, and when you pronounce it, it sounds almost the same. And here I will give you 7 cognates so you can use them in Spanish as well. The first one is alcohol in Spanish. Guess you know what it means because it sounds pretty similar than in English, doesn't it? Number 2 is conclusión. This one has a different pronunciation in Spanish, but you will understand definitely when you start learning Spanish. Number 3. Hobby. This one is completely similar. We basically took this word from English. Number 4, individual. Of course, it's the same word, just different pronunciation. The next one, number 5, is piercing. Yes, we use this word with the same pronunciation and meaning. Next one, number 6, is informal. I like to use this one in my lessons to explain ways to greet and say goodbye because it's similar in English and is a word that the students understand very quickly. And the last are some words related to sports. If you're learning Spanish and you like sports, you're lucky because most of the words are cognates like football, tennis, baseball, volleyball, hockey, water polo, golf, surf, and so on. As you can see, almost all sports are cognates. So, talking about your hobbies should not be difficult. As you can see, there are many, and I would like to remember you that there are hundreds of cognates. If you check them, you can be ready to your first Spanish lesson. Thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the italki YouTube channel for more tips on learning Spanish. Take a lesson with me on italki.com by clicking on my teacher profile link in the description. Hasta luego!
Hi everyone, it's Caroline here and I teach English on italki. Today I am going to be talking about business idioms or idioms you might hear in your office or in your workplace. A student asked me a really good question the other day. He asked me whether, because I'm a native English speaker, do I know every single idiom? And the answer is no. Idioms are phrases or expressions that come from a particular place or a particular age group. So idioms are different in the UK to idioms in the United States. I have chosen 5 business idioms, and you may hear them in an office in the UK or in the States. So hopefully they will be super useful for you. Idiom number 1 is the big picture. Imagine you go into a meeting and your boss says to you, you've lost sight of the big picture. What does that mean? That means that you are thinking too much about the small details of the project and you are so interested in those little details that you don't remember what it is you're trying to achieve. So always keep sight of the big picture. The second idiom is to extra mile. Now imagine you're in an interview and the interviewer says to you that they are a mile. What does that mean? Does it mean they want you to run around the office every day? No. It means they want you to do more than just what is in the job description. They want you to go that little bit further and to take on extra responsibilities. That is going the extra mile. The third idiom is a win-win situation. A win-win situation means everybody gains something. A really good example of this is these videos that I'm making for italki. italki gains some content for their websites, for their learners, And I have a platform where students can see me and book lessons with me. It's win-win. italki wins and Caroline wins. The fourth idiom is word of mouth. So an example of this is, think about how you found out about italki. Did you find italki by searching on Google, or did you find italki because one of your friends recommended it to you? Recommendations from friends are word of mouth. It can be positive or it can be negative. If your company gets bad word of mouth, it is going to be a very difficult time for your company because people really listen to the opinions of their friends. So make sure whatever you do, you have good word of mouth about it. The fifth and final business idiom is to touch base. My manager used to say this to me a lot. To touch base means to have a very quick and short meeting about a project or something that you are working on. It might only be 5 minutes of your time, but in that time, you will check that your understanding of the project is the same as your manager's understanding of the project. So I have a challenge for you. In your next lesson, I want you to ask your teacher if you can touch base about what you have learned in your lessons so far. This could be 5 minutes.
Hello, welcome everyone, greetings. Today we're going to be starting with another class. I was just taking a look at the chat boxes on the landing page and on YouTube, and we have lots of people joining us today. I was really happy to see some familiar names from yesterday's workshop, Monday's workshop, and our previous workshops in previous weeks. Guys, we've got some exciting news for you drumming up. I'm not going to make any announcements, but stay tuned because we have some really good news coming from italki about these live classes. So if you're enjoying them, stay tuned. I won't make any announcements, but italki has some great news for you guys coming up. So welcome back, everyone. Today we're going to be looking at phrasal verbs. And so give me a moment as I get my presentation loaded. I'd like for us to do a phrasal verbs challenge today while we wait on some participants to arrive. And hello, everyone. Lucia, Martina, Gabriela, Sarah, Gracia, Danielle, Daniel, Angel, Lucia, and Angel, Elena, and Nasir, I see, are joining us too. So we are also joined by our friend Jeffrey. Jeffrey's been doing an awesome job leading the scenes, leading the behind the scenes scene of it all. So let's also say hello to Jeffrey and thank him for his work. So Jeffrey, actually, if you don't mind, if you could put my PowerPoint on visible, we'll be using that now. Thank you very much. So we're going to be doing a quick phrasal verbs challenge. Yeah. What I want you to do is to write some phrasal verbs that have the particle off. Write your answers in the chat box now. Phrasal verbs that include the particle off. Write your answers now. Let's see. For example, drop off could be a good example of this. When you drop off someone at school or you drop off someone at the library, you take them there in your car and then you let them get out at their destination. So we have some answers coming in now. Carmen writes take off. Martina, cut off. Lucia adds turn off. Flavia, hello, welcome. Angel, get off. Yeah. To tell off. Yeah. Adrian is writing to tell off. To tell off is a bit impolite. When you tell off someone, you're a bit impolite with them in the way you speak. Hello, Sarah is writing shut off. To good. For example, to get offline, yeah, to spin off, good, wonderful. All right, let's do another phrasal verbs challenge. How about phrasal verbs with on? What phrasal verbs are you familiar with that have the particle on? Write this in the chat box now. Dima is writing in. Angie Stone. Hey, Angie, welcome back. You were in yesterday's workshop, I believe. Susan's writing to pull off. Good. Going on, Daniel writes, Elena says to turn on. Carmen says to turn on. Gracia, go on. Martina, turn on. To turn on the lights, turn on the fan, turn on our English brains. Angie adds to come on. Lucia to get on with. Virgin to put on. Beatriz also adds to put on and to go on. Nina says to get on the car. So Nina, I think you mean get in the car. To get on the car would be to get on the surface, on the top of the car. To go on, good. And Angie, great, welcome back. Nice to see you. Sabino says to move on. Oof. Aida says to cheat on. Okay. So Ida's one of our community tutors here. Check out her profile. And if you'd like to practice perhaps your Spanish, it looks like Ida is a Spanish tutor here. So check out her profile if you're here learning Spanish as well. Let's do another phrasal verbs challenge here. The last one was with on, now without. Yeah? What phrasal verbs do you know without? And hello, Barbara from Spain. Welcome back. What phrasal verbs do you know without? So now what I want you to do is a bit more complicated. I want you to write this in your language as well. So for example, if it's throw out, this is my example. Since I speak Spanish as well, I would say throw out and sacar, right? So I want you to write the verb in English and also in your language, okay? So keep out, yeah, mantener afuera, for example. To check out, pagar can be check out or examinar as well. Yeah, so write this in your language as well as English, the two versions. Okay, so I see we have some French speakers here. Sortir, to go out, to pull out, get out. I see watch out there. Okay. What other phrasal verbs do you know without? Let's see what we can find. So Beatriz says to go out. That's something that a lot of us would like to do. But since you can't go out, stay in and learn English. You learn English with such interesting professors like we've had today, Karen, Artiel. I believe you've also learned some some Japanese today, as well as some Chinese. And Yemi just gave a great lesson on social issues. So no reason to go out when you can learn with us. So check out, find out, get out, healthy out. Danielle, I don't know the original verb there, but I think you mean to get well. To speak out, good. So we can speak out against something, speak out against the quarantine if you're against it, or speak out against certain politics. Rafaela adds look out. Gabriela says to move out. Yeah, if you move out, you're changing apartments or changing homes. Okay, great, guys. So what we're going to do today is I'd also like just to know where you're from. Welcome, everyone. Write your country in the chat box now. What countries do we have here? I'm joining you from the United States. I'm here in Tennessee, which is in the south of the United States. I live in Bogota, Colombia, but I'm not there now because there are no international flights, unfortunately, until the end of May. So I'm fine, though, enjoying my time here in my home country. And Tennessee is a very beautiful place. We have people from Luxembourg, from Italy, Ukraine, from Spain, Beatriz from Madrid, also Aida from Catalonia. Okay, wonderful. Bon dia. We have Carmen joined from Spain, Brazil also, and the Ukraine, someone from Peru living in Barcelona. So we have a great international crowd. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for being here. So I'd also just like to know a little bit more about your confidence when using phrasal verbs. Rank your confidence between 1 to 10 when you use phrasal verbs. 1 would be very unconfident, and 10 very confident. Write your answers in the chat box now. I'm curious to know exactly how confident you are when you use phrasal verbs. So I'm looking over at the chat now. We have France with us from Syria. Welcome, someone, another person from France. And we have lots of 5s, 6s, 4s, and 3s of people saying their confidence here. A couple of 3s rolling in. Guys, thanks for being honest. This is very helpful for us. Danielle is saying a 3. Flavia is saying 4. And Sylvia is also agreeing there with a 4. We've got an 8 with someone with a phrasal verb as their name. How wonderful. Get out. Get out. I hope you stay in and don't get out of my class. So wonderful phrasal verb as your name and high confidence there. Monica's writing 5. Very often I confuse them. I can understand. They are confusing. Well, today we're going to look at phrasal verbs, specifically, I believe, without. So let's take a look at the list. I want to talk to you about a particle pattern, right? Phrasal verbs have always a particle and a verb. So let's actually take a look at this. Whenever we talk about a phrasal verb, we're talking about 2 components, the verb and the particle. So those of you who've been in my classes before know that bring in means entrar, and bring is the verb, in is the particle, right? Easy. Get on with, we've got get as the verb and on with as the particles, right? So let's just see if you can identify the verb and particle of this phrasal verb, which is hang out. Hang out. What's the verb and particle? Write your answers in the chat box now. We're just going to take 60 seconds for this. Go ahead, write your answers in the chat box now. The verb and particle of hang out. Can you figure it out? Figure out. So Lucia is writing in that hang is the verb, out is the particle. Rafaela, Carmen, and Beatriz are agreeing with her. Virginia, Elena, and Gabriela are also in agreement. So well done, guys and gals. The hang is the verb, out is the particle. Super. So let's just see as well this, this slide, because it's important to know that phrasal verbs, the verb and the particle work together. They're not 2 separate words, right? So bring in can mean llevar or traer, right? Excuse me, bring can mean llevar or traer, and bring in means entrar. So when someone says, can you bring in the dog, they mean to entrar the dog, not llevar dentro, llevar in, okay? The same thing for take out. Take means tomar in Spanish, and I realize we have more speakers of other languages here. So try to see if you can find these in your own language. Take out means sacar. So when we put them together, the verb and the particle, they work in this way. Another example could be go off, explotar. The bomb went off at 3 a.m. Went and off work together. Get on with is llevarse bien, and all 3 of those words work together. We get on with our neighbors means we have a good relationship with our neighbors, okay? So we'll also quickly speak about object placement. I know several of you were in the Monday workshop, but I also see some new names. So I want to speak about this really quickly. A quick summary. When we use objects, we have 2 options. Either to name the object, in this case, Stephen. Another example could be the class, right? Or to use a pronoun. If Stephen is the object pronoun is him. If the object is class, the object pronoun is it. If the object is Monica, then the object pronoun is her. If we are using an object pronoun, we must keep the pronoun between the particle and the verb. We're never going to have this case where we say we're going to pick up him, right? We can say that if the object is named, but never if it's a pronoun. That's a common problem that students have. Okay, let's take a look at this exercise. Which of these answers is incorrect with particle placement? A, can you bring the dog in? B, can you bring in him? C, can you bring him in? Or D, can you bring in the dog? One of those is incorrect with particle placement. Excellent. I see lots of people are answering B, and Maite is with us again. Welcome back, Maite. I believe you were with us yesterday. Excellent. So the incorrect one is B. Well done. Okay, so let's do a more complicated exercise, and then we're going to learn some new phrasal verbs. So if you see this sentence, which is incorrect, how can you correct it? The robbers stole all of his money and beat up him. This is an incorrect sentence. I want you to write a correct sentence. Write your answer in the chat box now. We cannot say the robbers stole all of his money and beat up him. What's the correct version of that sentence? The robbers stole all of his money and beat up him. Well done. So we have Beatriz, Ariel, Virginia, Martina, and Paolo, as well as Angel and Ardian, correcting us there. Beat him up. The robbers stole all of his money and beat him up. Well done, everyone. Okay, so phrasal verbs. Ready to practice? Write yes or no in the chat box now, and we'll see if we move on. Ready to practice? I think we need to focus on some new phrasal verbs. I think that several of you were in the classes already, and you know these rules. Of course, guys, if you have questions during the workshop, please feel free to type them in. And in fact, if you were in the Monday workshop of phrasal verbs, write Monday in the chat. Yeah, if you were in Monday's workshop, write Monday in the chat so I can know who already knows these words. If you were not in Monday's workshop, then please write no in the chat. So we have lots of people who were there. I don't see anyone saying no quite yet. So good. So then we're going to do an exercise using the verbs that we learned on Monday. So on Monday, we focused on verbs that included, we do have some no's coming in. Okay, good. Well, those of you who were not in Monday's workshop, pay attention to the examples that those who were, because we're going to do a quick exercise. Remember that there's a particle pattern associated with phrasal verbs. And we can look at the particle, in this case, down. We also talked about out and up, right? We can use that phrasal verbs particle to understand a bit more about the meaning. When we see phrasal verbs with down, that down can be used to indicate some sort of downward movement. For example, the teacher told all the students to sit down. Yeah, that means that the students were standing and sat down, downward movement. We can also use this particle down to indicate some sort of decrease. For example, that music is too loud, turn it down, decrease the volume. And the last reason or particle pattern that we'll see with phrasal verbs that include down are, for example, a completion, an ending, or a stopping. Business was so bad that the shop had to close down. So close down is a completion of business. Okay, so those are the particle patterns we'll see today: a downward movement, a decrease, a completion, ending, or stopping, and it's always associated with phrasal verbs that include the particle down. So those of you who were in Monday's workshop, I want you to write a sentence using one of the phrasal verbs we looked at. And if you weren't in Monday's workshop, then take an attempt at writing one. So we looked at those 8 verbs in Monday's workshop: hand down, run down, splash down, wear down, wind down, live down, write down, and to let someone down. Take a moment, write an example sentence with one of these verbs so you can share with your classmates today. And I see Nina is joining us again, and Erika. welcome. And to Sergio, to Daniel, Monica, Rafaela, Paulo, Sabino, Elena, and Sergio, as well as Zolst, welcome. Thanks for joining us today on Wednesday in this phrasal verb workshop. I hope that some of the examples your classmates will give now in the chat help you understand these verbs. After we do this exercise, we're going to look at, I believe we'll have time to look at 16 new phrasal verbs today. So let's take an example from Elena. Elena says, sometimes I meditate to wind down. Excellent. So wind down means to relax after a busy day. Sabino says, I write down a song for my girlfriend. I wrote down a song for my girlfriend. How nice. Sarah says, this watch, okay, Sarah, one correction. This watch has been handed down from 8 generations. Has been, because we're speaking about an indefinite past. Paulo says, I don't want to let the professor down. Paulo, I'm sure you won't. The most important thing is your participation and attendance, so you're already on to a great start. Suzanne says, my best friend let me down. Fine, fine. Time to look for a new best friend. Zolst writes, my car's tires are worn down. Excellent job as using a phrasal verb as an adjective. Rafaela says, yesterday I ran down the street and I stumbled. Yeah, absolutely. I hope you had a Band-Aid and didn't break your knee or anything like that. Monica writes, my pants are wearing down. Interesting. So you can say that your pants are wearing down, but with clothes, you can also say wear in, right? So do you know when you get a new pair of jeans, sometimes those jeans are like very stiff and uncomfortable. Same thing with leather. Guys, if you're ever in Colombia, go to a leather shop. Colombian leather is excellent. And if we have someone here joining us from Colombia, they can tell you. But do you know when you get new leather shoes, they're also very uncomfortable. But leather and also new jeans, they kind of take the shape of your skin and your body with more use. That's called wear in. Wear in. Wear out is when it becomes completely useless eventually. Okay, so for example, maybe you can say also, Monica, I got new pants and now I'm wearing them in. Or once my new boots have been worn in, they'll be so comfortable. Okay, so wonderful. Sergio, Lucia writes, I do yoga because I need to wind down at the end of the day. Sergio, never let me down again. Good. Rafaela, please write down your name. Martina, I splashed down from the trampoline into a swimming pool, maybe. Elena, his friends didn't let him live that down. And YouTube, what happened with you guys? I see very few examples coming from YouTube and 16 people joining us there. Come on, guys. YouTube, what happened? On the italki page, we've got tons of people participating. It's loads of students. I'm really happy with your guys' participation. And your examples, really great job. So I think it's time we take a look at some new phrasal verbs that end with down. So today we're going to focus again on 8 phrasal verbs at a time. And these are going to be the 8 phrasal verbs we look at today. Ready? We're going to look at blow down. A tree blew down in the last storm. Chop down. We had to chop down a tree because half of it was dead. Kneel down. When a man wants to propose to his wife, future wife, he generally kneels down and asks him to marry her. We'll also look at lie down. At the end of the day, after winding down, perhaps you also lie down. To pour down, it rained so hard, it was pouring down. Shoot down. The enemy plane was shot down out of the air with a missile. Sit down. When the students were told to sit down, they took their seats. And slow down. Perhaps if the lesson is going too fast, you might write, slow down, I have a question. So as with verbs that end with down, phrasal verbs that end with down, we can notice the particle pattern, right? And they're going to have some sort of meaning of a decrease, downward movement, or completion. So keep that in mind as we're moving on today. And guys, remember, I'll also be keeping a close eye on the chat in case you have any questions at all. So let's begin. Complete this sentence using one of the verbs on the list at the right. Be very careful with tense and formation and write your answers in the chat box. So if someone says to you, make yourself at home, I'll be with you in a moment. What could we say? Make yourself at home. I'll be with you in a moment. Make yourself at home. Blow down, chop down, kneel down, lie down, pour down, shoot down, sit down, slow down. What could we say? So I see a few different answers coming in. Sit down, lie down. Robert on YouTube says, sit down. Erika's got a nice example. Erika said, I cut my hair too short, and now my parents will never let me live it down. Excellent. Okay, so I see lots of sit down, a few lie down. What do you think? If someone comes to your house, a visitor, are you going to invite them to use the couch, the sofa, or the bed? I think that I prefer sit down. Make yourself at home. Sit down. I'll be with you in a moment. So lie down is something that generally we do in bed. I suppose you could do it at a sofa, on a sofa, but it might be a bit impolite in another person's home to sit down. To lie down. But we'll use that verb in another context, definitely. How about this? I feel a bit tired, so I think I'll blow down, chop down, kneel down, lie down, pour down, shoot down, sit down, slow down. I'll blank for a while. What could we put there? Good. Okay, I see lots of answers rolling in, and good, guys. This would be more of an example of lie down, because lie down we do in bed. It's something when we lay horizontally. So excellent job. I see lots of correct answers. Thanks, guys, for that. Let's do another one. So you had better take an umbrella because it's... You had better take an umbrella because it's... You had better take an umbrella because it's blowing down, chopping down, kneeling down, lying down, pouring down, shooting down, sitting down, or slowing down. What could be the best phrasal verb to include here? And I see lots of correct answers. Well done, guys and gals, because it's pouring down. What brilliant students we have with us today. Okay, let's continue. What about this? If you're in a taxi, for example, and the driver's going too fast, you can say, you're driving too fast, blank, or you'll have an accident. What could we say there? You're driving too fast, blank, or you'll have an accident. Good. So I see lots of correct answers. Slow down. Take it easy. So we can say this to someone driving. We can say this also in class. If you think the class is going too fast, slow down. If someone is giving you reasons for a belief and you're not understanding what they're saying, you can also say slow down. Or if someone is speaking English too fast, you can say, I'm sorry, could you slow down? I'm still learning English. So I see lots of correct answers. Well done, Flavia, Marina, Savio, there's someone from Spain, Sergio and Maite, Zolst, also Angel, Barbara, Lucia, Angel, Robert. Hey, Robert, welcome back. Erika, Angel, Barbara, everyone. Excuse me. These were from the previous answer, but Rafaela also well done. Rafaela mentioned slow down. There's a speed camera over there. So do you have speed cameras in your country? I hate speed cameras. Ugh, I think it's terrible. Do you have speed cameras in your country? Here we have speed cameras, but everyone knows where they are. So you just slow down in that moment so you don't have your picture taken. So do you have speed cameras in your country? Let us know in the chat. We're also going to do one more exercise here. Let's move on. Okay, the tree was dying, so we had to blank it blank. Oof, and looks like speed cameras are very popular in different countries around the world. I think it's just a clever way to make money. What about you? So the tree was dying, so we had to blank it down. We had to blank it down. The tree was dying, so we had to... Good. Okay, you're driving too fast. Oops, excuse me. The tree was dying, so we had to chop it down. Wonderful, wonderful. Good, good, good. Lots of correct answers. So to chop down a tree, Martina is asking, which is the difference between blow down and chop down? Chop down is when you have to use tools to remove a tree, like an axe or a hatchet or a chainsaw. Blow down is when the wind does the damage. So maybe a tree has been blown down in tornadoes or in very strong storms. In fact, it happened here where I live just recently. There was a storm so violent that it blew down several trees. Good. And Zolst writes, yes, we have a human speed camera. They are hidden behind the chopped down tree. Excellent creativity there. Okay, so guys, let's take a look at this next example. If someone says to you this sentence, how could you respond? Tall people can be very frightening for small children. Tall people can be very frightening for small children. If you're tall, when you're speaking to them so that they're at your level. Yeah, tall people can be very frightening for small children. If you're tall, when you're speaking to them so you're at their level. So we have lots of correct answers. Kneel down, kneel down. So perhaps we have someone who's very tall here. Are you very tall? Do you kneel down when speaking to children? Do you think this is an effective strategy? Let us know in the chat box now if you're a tall person and believe this is a good way to communicate more effectively with people who are not, especially children. Let's do another one. Okay, so I want our, let's see, who asked the question? Martina, be attentive here, yeah? It was very windy last night and several trees were, and I want to remind you, be very careful with tense and formation on this. Yeah, so I see some answers, but not in correct tense and formation. So be very careful there. Good. It was very windy last night and several trees were blank. And now this is passive voice, right? We use passive voice with the verb to be and also a past participle. So I see some correct answers coming in, correctly using passive voice. Why are we using passive voice here? We need to use passive voice when the subject is irrelevant or unknown. Here, the subject is the wind, but we don't need to say that the wind did this activity because of course the wind did this. Who else would have been out, right? So I have lots of really good answers coming in, but some incorrect formation here. Let's take a look at the answer. It was very windy last night and several trees were blown down. So here we need to use the past of be, right? Because it's a past activity. We're using passive voice, right? And we need to then use the past participle, right? So blow, blew, past participle, blown. So nice job to everyone here who got the correct answer. We had some issues with passive voice, so stay tuned. Perhaps that's a class that will be offered in the future. We never know. Let's move on to a next exercise. Did you hear on the news that a UN plane was blank this morning? Looks like another example of passive voice to me. What do you think? So if someone says this to you, what would you say? What phrasal verb would you use? Did you hear on the news that a UN plane was this morning? Did you hear that a UN plane was this morning? So let's see who gets this correct. This is an irregular verb, so it's not shotted. Check out your irregular verb knowledge. So while we have some answers coming in, and while you're thinking about how to form the irregular verb, which is the correct answer in passive voice, I'd like to tell everyone that if you would like a copy of this presentation, feel free to message me on italki. Just mention that you were in my live stream lesson and you'd like a copy of the materials. I'm happy to send it to you. Since this is a Google presentation, I can send it to you just with the link, and you can practice with this presentation at any moment. So if you'd like to have a copy of these materials, just let me know. I'll be sending out the materials on Friday, and anyone who wants the materials, you'll receive this presentation. There are 200 slides of phrasal verbs, presentation that I've made. You'll also receive the materials from our email workshops. So tomorrow, Thursday and Friday at this time, this same hour, I'll be doing email workshops. That's a little bit different because we're writing emails. We're not doing so many multiple choice type questions. We're using phrasal verbs in the emails. So if emailing is something you have problems with, if it's something that sometimes you hesitate with, then join tomorrow 3:15 to 4:15 Spanish time, and we'll be doing our email workshop. Additionally, if you'd like to have a copy of this presentation, just go to my profile, send me a message, mention that you're in the workshop, you'd like a free copy of the materials, and I'll be happy to send it to you on Friday. So we have some people writing in the answer, but I didn't see a ton of correct answers. Let's take a look at the correct answer. Shot down. Yeah. Did you hear on the news that a UN plane was shot down this morning? So we use the past passive voice. That's a difficult thing to say. Past passive voice here because we don't know who's done this. We don't know who's shot down the plane. So we have no subject to name. The subject is unknown. And it's in the past, so we use was because we're talking about a singular subject that happened in the past. Okay, so was shot down. The past of shoot, shot. Shoot, shot, shot. And remember, guys, here we use the past participle, not past simple. So that's important for a verb like swim. No, not swim. Well, I can't think of a verb that has a different past participle in this moment. But remember, with present, with the passive voice, we use past participles for passive voice. Let's move on with 8 more verbs. These verbs also are with the particle down. Okay, ready? Let's learn our new verbs. Calm down, cool down, cut down, fall down, to mark down, quieten down, tear down, and tone down. These are the 8 phrasal verbs we're going to be working with in our next activity. Calm down, cool down, cut down, fall down, mark down, quieten down, tear down, and tone down. Let's go ahead and begin with our activities so that you can understand more the meaning and when we would use these phrasal verbs. So As always, complete the sentence with one of these phrasal verbs. Be very, very careful with tense and formation. The coffee is too hot. I'll wait until it has before I drink it. The coffee is too hot. I'll wait until it has before I drink it. The first two answers I'm seeing, first three answers, are the correct verb, but in the incorrect form. So check it out. I'll wait until it has. Okay, and we've got Paolo and Ariel writing in some nice answers. Zolst also. Erika, try again. Be careful with your formation. This is not passive voice, but what is the tense here that we're using with has? Yeah, I'll wait until it has before I drink it. Who can name the tense of this? You get 1 million bonus points if you know the name of this tense. You get 1 million bonus points. Right? And Elena's got it. Present perfect. Wonderful. Present perfect. So guys, be sure that you're using the past participle. This coffee's too hot. I'll wait until it has cooled down before I drink it. Robert also getting 1 million bonus points. Present perfect. Wonderful job. Okay, let's continue our practice. We've got 20 minutes together left. Plenty of time. We could learn even more than 16 phrasal verbs. Let's see. There's no need to get so angry. Try to. There's no need to get so angry. Try to. Perhaps you feel a bit angry learning phrasal verbs, but there's no need to be angry when you're studying. Try to. Excellent, guys. Calm down. Let's continue. If they saw any protesters with the president's picture, the protesters blank them blank. So notice here that we already have a verb in the past simple. So we need to be very careful with tense and formation. It's only a correct answer if the tense and formation are correct. So nice job, Sergio, Marina, Zols, Paolo, on our last challenge. Also, Hao has gotten it correct. It looks like Valentina and Dima, Martina. Okay, excellent. Gloomy Banana, what an interesting name. Gloomy Banana is also getting it correct with Lucia, Barbara, Robert, Erika, and Angel. Nice job, everyone. So if this one is a bit more complicated, no? Imagine that there are protesters in the streets. It's during an election. And if they see pictures with the president's face, they want to remove those pictures from the walls, right? So there's a hint. Remove. Okay? So what would we say? Calm down, cool down, cut down, fall down, mark down, quieten down, tear down, or tone down. So we have lots of different answers here. Actually, I see one correct answer. The protesters blank them down. Any ideas? Okay, let's take a look at the answer here. If they saw any protesters with the president's pictures, the protesters tore them down. So if they saw the pictures, they would tear them down. They'd rip them off of the wall or the surface. Okay, let's move on to another question. So maybe someone here is using the quarantine to give up smoking. Yeah, that would be a great idea. If you're smoking, definitely try to quit. But if you can't give up smoking entirely, at least try to what? If you can't give up smoking entirely, at least try to calm down, cool down, cut down, fall down, mark down, quieten down, tear down, tone down. What could we say? If you can't give up smoking entirely, at least try to blank. So perhaps there's someone in our room who's trying to stop smoking. If you're trying to stop smoking, let us know in the chat, and you've got hundreds of people here who are supporting you in your decision. And this is not a good idea if you're trying to quit smoking. If you're trying to quit smoking, you should quit cold turkey, not try to just cut down. So nice job to everyone. Angie, Sergio, Gracia, Ariel, Paulo, Elena, Susan, Martina, Gabriela, Aida, hello, Sarah, also getting it correct. Susanna, Elena, done. Many people getting this answer correct. Also, Lucia and Angel and Helena. Wonderful. If you can't give up smoking, at least try to cut down. Well, I can't believe that no one here is a smoker trying to quit. But if you are, you have a lot of people supporting you. So Martina's asking, are calm down and quieten down synonymous? Really good question. The short answer is they are similar in meaning, but not synonyms. A synonym means exactly the same thing. Quieten down much more refers to the volume. Okay, so if you imagine like a group of children, they're very with a lot of energy and usually speak at high volumes. So to a group of children, you'd say quieten down, right? Calm down would be, for example, if someone is angry, you could say to them, calm down. If a child's having a tantrum, then you could say to that child, calm down as well. But quieten down definitely refers mainly to volume. Yeah, great question. So let's continue with more practice. If someone says this to you, how could you respond? Everyone started talking at once. Finally, after they had, he continued speaking. So notice that we have a verb here, had. This is an indication that this verb will be in a modified form, of course, so be very careful with tense and formation. This, of course, is the past perfect, okay? The past perfect. So be very careful with your formation there. So if someone says to you, everyone started talking at once, finally, after they had blank, he continued speaking. What could be perhaps a good phrasal verb to use there? So I see a couple of different answers, some correct, some incorrect. Looking at YouTube, I see actually only one correct answer on YouTube, and some incorrect answers, and some variety of answers, both correct and incorrect, many correct, coming in on the italki page. You guys must be studying lots these days. Let's take a look at what the answer is, because I have to say I see lots of correct answers with the correct formation. Everyone started talking at once. Finally, after they had quietened down, he continued speaking. Let me repeat this because it's a difficult verb to say, even for me, to be honest. After he quietened down, he continued speaking. After they had quietened down, he continued speaking. So wonderful, guys. I see lots of different people writing in with the correct form. So much better job on this one. Let's continue with these exercises to see how we do with the remaining phrasal verbs. What about this? The church tower was damaged in the storm. Then a week later, it what? The church tower was damaged in the storm. Then a week later, it what? Yeah, the church tower was damaged in the storm. Then a week later, it what? So write your answer in the chat box now. Let's see how many people can get this correct. Our participation today has been phenomenal. Wonderful participants today. Good. Lots of correct answers coming in. Susan, Ariel, Aida, Elena, everyone getting the correct verb. We have some different interpretations in the form. This is an irregular verb, right? So be careful with that. And on YouTube, I see we have much better participation now. Dor, Angel, Robert, and Erika, Aiden, as well as Gloomy Banana, all getting it correct. Not necessarily everyone with the formation of the verb. Let's take a look at the correct answer. The church tower was damaged in the storm, and then a week later it fell down. So well done to everyone who got the correct verb. Extra special well done to everyone who's gotten the verb in the correct tense. Nice job. If you have trouble with irregular verbs, that's something to Google, guys. Remember, irregular verbs are really important. So if it's something you struggle with, make it a quarantine goal to review irregular verbs in English. When you study irregular verbs like fall, fell, fallen, swim, swam, swam, drink, drank, drunk, you need to remember all three of those forms in that rhythm. And it's a good idea when you're doing that exercise to do it rhythmically. Put, drink, drank, drunk, swim, swam, swam. Irregular verbs are terrible, and you don't want to be an advanced student of a language who can't use irregular verbs properly. So be sure you study those. You've got time during the quarantine. Make it a challenge. Print a list tonight. Okay, so, and also, guys, I'm going to include to anyone who requests this presentation, when I email it to you, I'll email you also a copy of a really good phrasal verbs list. So if you'd like a phrasal verbs list, send me a message. Just let me know that you were in today's live stream, and I'll also send you a copy of a irregular verbs list that's really well organized. It's only 3 pages. No excuses to not learn it in the quarantine. So let's move on to another example here. During the sale, some prices were blank by as much as 50%. What could be the correct answer here? During the sale, some prices were blank by as much as 50%. So guys, remember, be careful with form. This is hint. This is a passive voice. We don't know who's doing this activity, so we use the passive voice. And I see lots of correct answers. Wonderful. Let's take a look at the correct answer. Well done to Ida, Sergio, Zolst, Gabriela, Angie Stone, and Danielle, as well as Barbara, Angel, and Erika. Nice job. During the sale, some prices were marked down by as much as 50%. Anna and Marina and Helena also getting this correct. Well done. Let's do a few more. The visiting professor's speech was extremely political. In an effort to not cause any offense, they asked her to blank her speech blank. What could we use here as a phrasal verb to complete this thought? The visiting professor's speech was extremely political. In an effort to not cause any offense, they asked her to blank her speech blank. So I see lots of correct answers coming in here. In an effort to not cause any offense, they asked her to blank her speech blank. So I see a lot of correct answers. Well done to Andres, to Gracia, to Gabriela, Helena, Marina, Carmen. Excellent job. All of you getting this correct. They asked her to tone her speech down. The visiting professor's speech was extremely political. In an effort not to cause any offense, they asked her to tone her speech down. So someone asked in a previous question in the chat about the difference between quieten down and tone down. Another question was about the difference between calm down and quieten down. So I want to address that previous question. What is the difference between quieten down and tone down? Quieten down deals with volume. Tone down deals with ideas, right? So in this example, the speech of the professor was extremely political. Perhaps it was very critical of the current president. As you all know, politics is a delicate topic. Some people are very convinced about their beliefs. So when we're speaking to people like that, especially if we don't agree with them, we need to tone it down. Yeah. I think, for example, some political speech in the United States, it's my personal opinion, is too aggressive. Yeah, it's too aggressive. It's not speech that's collaborative or rhetoric that helps. It's aggressive. So it would be my preference that politicians tone down their aggressivity when they're speaking to each other. So quieten down deals with volume. Yeah. Tone down deals with ideas and the way we communicate our ideas. If our ideas are very extreme, we need to tone them down. So I hope that answers your question. I didn't want to address it until this slide, but thanks for that question. So we've got 5 minutes together, guys. Let's see if we can do some more phrasal verb activities. Do you think we should? Write yes in the chat if you're ready to move on. So we're going to look at some that use the particle out. Let's begin this, and perhaps we can continue this in another session. So as we looked with the particle pattern with down, you can sometimes know certain things are happening based on the preposition. The same thing with out. Phrasal verbs with out can indicate an outward movement, not being inside. For example, let's eat out this evening. Eat out, of course, means not eat in your house, but eat in a restaurant. We can also use out to mean an exclusion, excluding something. The double glazing helps to keep out the noise. So this is referring to glass. Sometimes glass has not just one sheet of glass, but there are two sheets of glass running parallel in order to prevent noise from traffic or wind and storms entering. We can also use the phrasal verb particle out to indicate completion or doing thoroughly. It took me hours to clean out that room, to clean completely that room, to take out all the things, to do it completely and thoroughly. So our 8 verbs that we're going to look at now all use out in a meaning that wants to say outward movement, not being inside, excluding, or completely doing something or doing something thoroughly. The verbs we'll look at: ask out, to cut out, jump out, keep out, to slip out, squeeze out, stay out, and walk out. We probably won't have time to complete all of our activities. We're going to do the lightning round. Let's see if we can, yeah? And remember, if you'd like to have a copy of this presentation, just send me a message. I'll send it to your way. So what do you think? Let's go quickly. What he was saying made us so angry that we, in protest. In protest. What he was saying made us so angry that we, in protest, we left, we exited in protest. What could you say here? So, for example, imagine that the professor didn't tone down her rhetoric, and this is now what she has done. The students have, good, I see lots of correct answers, walked out in protest. Well done. We have walked out in protest. So, let's continue. As Jim was crossing the park, a robber suddenly and attacked him. Oh God, poor Jim. As Jim was crossing the park, a robber suddenly and attacked him. What could we say here? Now remember, it's going to be in past simple because we're talking about something that happened in the past. Whenever we combine the past progressive with the past simple, we're talking about interrupting actions. So suddenly the robber what? Great. I see lots of correct answers. Well done. As Jim was crossing the park, a robber suddenly jumped out and attacked him. All right, let's keep on going. This is our lightning round of English class. How wonderful. There were guards at the front of the building to any protesters and stop them from disrupting the meeting. There were guards at the front of the building to any protesters and stop them from disrupting the meeting. What could we say here? Ask out, cut out, jump out, keep out, slip out, squeeze out, stay out, or walk out. So I see Dord and Erika and Robert have got it right, as well as Ariel, Paulo, Elena, Martina, Gracia, Dima, Maite, Sergio. Wonderful. We want to keep out the protesters. There were guards at the front of the building to keep out any protesters and stop them from disrupting the meeting. Okay, guys, we're going to just do one more. Person A says, how can I get Susan to go out with me? How can I get Susan to go out with me? Person B says, well, you know she likes dancing, so why don't you blank her blank to a club? Why don't you blank her blank to a club? So if you want Susan to come out with you, ask her to go dancing, and maybe she'll find out you're a talented dancer and want to continue going out with you. Excellent. So we have lots of correct answers. Well, you know she likes dancing, so why don't you ask her out to a club? Excellent, guys. Wonderful, wonderful. Well, everyone, thanks so much for joining today. Remember, we're going to be doing this all week, so you can join tomorrow for us to continue our lessons. If you'd like a copy of this presentation, then just send me a message on italki. I'll send you the materials on Friday from our email workshops, and also a list of irregular verbs and this presentation. Jeffrey's just put up my link to my profile there on the screen, and as you can see, also italki live sessions have been extended until the end of next week, so you can continue learning. So Jeffrey's put up my link to my profile there. However, it's much easier just to go to italki.com/communicate, and you can be redirected to my profile. So I'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place. And if you're interested in reserving a one-on-one lesson, I've got a special offer for you who've joined us now. Guys, I've had lots of bookings lately, participants in this live class. So if you're interested in meeting on a one-on-one basis, go ahead and reserve your first class. You can do that on a discounted rate by looking for class type number 2 on my profile and take your first class at a discounted rate. Of course, if you've got questions about the different classes I have, feel free to send me a message. Otherwise, let's give a big thanks to Jeffrey for leading things behind the scenes. We've got a great support team here leading this. And as you know, this is going to be extended a week. So thanks, everyone. Hope to see you soon. Stay well and stay safe. Bye for now.